I got to come up with an opening. I do an opening every time. I try to think of a Simpson-y different one.
Oh, great.
You want to help me think of one?
Yeah, I love openings.
I've done made with 100% recyclable material. Only podcast made with that. Only podcast made by a Ukrainian refugee. It's just whatever.
So what this podcast is constructed with?
No, it's just a travel podcast. Or I'm only podcast endorsed by the Green Party.
Oh, I see. How about the only podcast in support of murdering endangered species? Because no one's doing that.
It's almost an untouched, when they're it might not be the number one thing, but if you're the only guy in that market,
you're doing it.
Yeah.
Which makes you stand out, sort of. Hey, there's a olive speckled sea turtle. There's only 3 left, and then your Birkenstock comes down on the back of its head, and suddenly you're in the news.
And people that reminds me of Ari and his You Be Trippin podcast.
Yeah, so is that one?
Murder and endangerment, yeah.
Where you been and where you going? This is Ari's travel show, yeah. We're gonna talk about travel today. It's You Be Trippin, yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Be Trippin. It's a travel podcast. Every week, me and a guest go somewhere interesting around the world. It's the only podcast that is built on murdering endangered species. And today, my guest is none other than one of the best lawyers in Los Angeles, recently turned stand-up comedian, Harland Williams, Esquire. Thanks for being here, bud.
Dude, if you need any litigation done or you need jokes, I'm your guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm happy to do either. I can work you through your divorce. I can work you through a car crash, or if you need some knock-knock jokes or material about relationships, dogs,
all in one shot.
Funerals, yeah.
Yeah, I bet if you do divorce law and then get jokes from that.
Sure.
Relationship jokes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Your murdered wife.
My murdered wife, who?
You did it. You're going to jail. This type of thing.
Yeah. It's not what you want from your lawyer, though.
Well, he said, I do lawyer and jokes.
Oh, right.
So
That's a joke
is what
part.
You want.
Yeah. You're laughing your way to incarceration.
What's incarceration mean?
Jailed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer. I don't use those big words.
Oh, yeah. It's like imagine you're in a car.
Yeah.
But then laceration, it's an uncomfortable thing. You have a laceration in your car. You don't want to be there. So that's how prison feels.
Incarceration almost sounds like a new type of vape, too.
Yeah.
Like the new, raspberry blast incarceration. Get cancer, but do it with color.
Maybe that's your business thing.
Maybe.
I'm into the murdered fucking endangered species. This podcast supports that.
Sure does.
Incarceration vapes.
I could see going on safari with you, and we go to Tasmania or Australia, and we find one of those weird. Remember those dogs, the tiger wolves or the tiger dogs, the Australian? There's only supposed to be extinct.
Oh yeah.
No, it's like
the Tasmanian devil.
No, it's a type of it was the tiger wolf or something.
Okay.
And they said it went extinct in the 30s, and they have film of it. But there's rumors that they're still out there, and I could see me and you going on safari, and then we see one, and you put on your Birkenstocks and put its head on a curb in Melbourne, and then stomp on the back of its skull.
Yeah, Murdenstocks, I call them, Murderstocks.
Murdenstocks.
Yeah.
Great. Also my doctor, by the way. Phil Murdenstock, Beverly Hills.
How's he doing?
5296 Maple Drive, 4th floor. And I don't endorse him. He's just a friend.
Oh, nice. You just hang out there?
Yeah, that's just his address. It's all right.
Nothing's better than getting a doctor to tell you specifics about patients by name. Go over that oath they have and just say, hey, it's like an NDA. We don't really hold by them.
Who even uses that word oath anymore?
Yeah.
It sounds like a health food. Would you like some blueberry on your oath? Just forget it.
I kind of want to bring oath back.
How about oatmeal?
How about oatmeal?
About some. I could do a hot bowl of that right now.
I believe you promised my agent oatmeal when I was here.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to start using the word oath. I'm going to start being did you really go there? I'm like, I give you this oath that I did.
Isn't it funny how oath is so close to oaf, which is another word you never hear? Has anyone ever called you a lazy oaf?
No. It would hurt if some white lady was move, you oaf. I'd be like,
It's hurtful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do right now, Ari?
Yeah.
And I don't care what your audience says.
Okay.
I'm going to take an oath to never call you an oaf. And that's from the heart.
Thanks, bud.
That's what I do.
All
You want to
right.
go punch a three-nosed Indonesian mole? There's
But
only 6 left.
If you die before me, I'm going to speak at your funeral and said he was a man true to his word. Or I'm going to be like, this man was a damn liar. He called me oaf constantly.
Doesn't matter. I'll be laying in a coffin staring at the ceiling fan.
Yeah.
My eyes coagulating and tiny maggot larva forming, eating my corneas and my pupils and making slurping sounds and distracting you so you can't even finish making an oath.
That would distract me. At your funeral. All that stuff happening.
Checkmate.
Harlan, what do you want to talk about today? Where are we going?
I think we're done, guy. I think you know that. I think there's nowhere to go from maggots eating my eyes. You said, hey, guy, let's talk about travel.
Yeah.
And we've all traveled. We've all been to different countries and places. And I have really a very spectacular trip that happened to me.
Okay.
That was one trip, but encompassed the whole globe.
No way, really?
Yeah, and if you want to stick to one country, I'll abide by that. But this trip was so spectacular, I thought you might be inspired or it might be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what I usually do is we go
Okay.
to a place, and it might even be a city, Paris, but then I'll be like France. I'll
Yeah.
go to the country. How about Earth?
Earth, that's a country.
Yeah, it'll be the only one that's ever been to, like, that'll be your thing.
Yeah. By the way, why isn't there a tree named that?
Earth?
I mean, we've got pine trees. We got birch trees.
But why would that tree be?
Well, shouldn't every country have a tree?
God damn it, dude. I told myself I was going to fall for one of these today. Fucking
Well,
shit.
It's just a woodsy question. And you live in a city, so maybe you don't know woodsy questions. See,
Here's
look,
a
those
tree.
look like trees to
Yeah,
me. That's definitely
that's
a tree, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it's moist. Is that sap or is that excitement? What?
You're sapping the energy out of this room right
What
now.
wow, that is swollen, dude.
I fought some
Was
trees
there
like
a
this.
woodpecker on that just before they took this picture? Oh, yeah. That's a tree right there, dude.
What do we got here? This one look like not
Whoa.
bad. Not bad.
That one's got wood.
Dude.
Look, there's an anise tree down on the bottom left. That's definitely an anise tree.
What a fuckable tree, bro.
I've never seen a tree take a shit. You will.
Come visit it. Oh.
It's even pink. Look at that.
It looks like a bad one. It looks like a real, school newspaper one.
It must be fall because the clit's changing color. It's all red and pink.
This is pretty
Wow,
nice.
dude.
I didn't know this would go down that way. A simple
did I.
Google image search will yield such rewards.
There, if you scroll back up, I think I saw one doing a spread eagle right there. And there's
Where?
Look, right there, there's a gynecologist, a wild gynecologist.
Staring in there.
Whoa. What the hell? Whoa.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, he's getting in there.
Is that Minnie Driver? Who is that? What is that?
The one with the hat or the one
I don't
leaning
know.
over?
I can't- Dude. Wow. I hope that tree doesn't get diarrhea because that guy's going to be killed.
Oh, he's going to get sprayed.
Wow.
He's going to root.
Wow. Alex Haley tree.
All right.
Okay, sorry, man. So here's what happened. I like to travel. We all like to travel.
When did you get into it? How long were you always when you were a young lad growing up in Kitchener? Were you
When I was a young lad, this was my modus operandi, and that's the lawyer in me talking. I emerged as a youngin' in the world, on Earth,
Yeah.
and I was born in Toronto, and I had my environment with the silent N. And as a young boy, I knew I was on a planet full of treasures and just exotic places, and I thought this is my home.
Yeah.
And it's like if I bought a house, I would want to go in every room. And
That's a good way to put it.
And this earth is my home. I live here. I want to try and go in as many rooms as I can. So as a young boy, I thought I want to live a life where I can see the world and go into as many rooms as I can and have experiences. And so I always had my eye on traveling. And so I did. I would go here and there, and I'd been to many places. But then one day I went on this incredible journey that stemmed from a piece of junk mail.
Okay.
So I went down to my mailbox one day at the end of my driveway, and I reached in, and you get all these, the coupons for the grocery stores and all the junk mail. And I was throwing them in the garbage, and there was one pamphlet, and it said National Geographic on it, which to me is still one of the sort of the more pure brand names in the world,
Yeah.
You think National Geographic, you think sort of classy and educational and...
Yeah, they haven't fought. There's no swimsuit issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have tits, though, sometimes.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never white tits.
No.
No,
They're
but it
kinda
really exposed
racist
you to
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see some, a tribe in Cleveland or a tribe down in,
Yeah,
Boston.
cheetahs. Yeah.
Why is it always got to be the Umgagala tribe in Rwanda or something?
Yeah, how about a one necklace naked chick instead of a 10?
Really racist.
Really racist. But they never went woke, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it was a pure magazine. Yeah.
It was sort of pure, and it was one of those brand names where you associate it with quality, right?
Uh-huh.
So now I got this pamphlet, and I just thought it was garbage, and I literally was throwing it towards the garbage can. I was just about to take my fingers off it,
Yeah.
and I just something went National Geographic, and I pulled it back.
Garbage can't.
It was a garbage can moment.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I still have it. I brought the pamphlet. I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it said, National Geographic trip around the world in a private jet in 26 days. And I went, wait a minute. I opened this pamphlet up, and there they show a map of all your destinations from Easter Island to Nepal to Africa to India to Tahiti to Egypt. Like, it was everywhere. And I go, this has got to be $1 million. I'd never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
They have the price in there. I look, $35,000. First class, private jet.
Private jet.
And I just did the math, and I went, wait. And then it was 3 days in each place at a 5-star hotel, everything included, meals. They handle your luggage. They handle your passports, resorts. They arrange day trips for you.
29 days?
26 days.
26 days. Wait, wow. I mean, it's pricey, but also cheap.
If you tried to do that on your own around the world in a month, and it was like, 16, 17 locations?
Yeah, no way. Also, the planning is worth fucking 10 grand.
So the planning, and then not only that, but they included on the flight, they had these experts like naturalists, scientists. We had a TV show host, Boyd Madsen, who hosted National Geographic, the explorer.
Yeah.
And these guys would give lectures on the plane in between these flights. So I'm going to show you the pamphlet because I saved it. It's pretty hilarious.
Hi, guys. I just got to break in real quick to let you know that Harland Williams is a tremendous stand-up comic. He's got his own podcast called The Harland Highway, and he's got a tour coming. You can see him coming up in Ontario, Canada, where he is a mega god. You can also see him Stamford, Connecticut, Huntsville, Alabama, Portland, Oregon. Go to harlandwilliams.com for tickets. For myself, I've got my farewell tour that is going on sale. October 16th is the pre-sale. Promo code Ari. I'll be in the following cities: Tahoe, Pittsburgh, Providence, Salt Lake City, Brea, Nashville, New Jersey, Tampa, Denver will be a best of week, Schaumburg, Atlanta, Portland, Jacksonville, San Jose, Fort Lauderdale, Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and then maybe Dallas, San Antonio, Spokane, or Boise. Probably one of those. All tickets will be at arishaffir.com. Promo code Ari. That will be, and Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, will be the final gig. That's it. I will not be adding any more tour dates till 2027, so hurry up and get them. Tickets are arishaffir.com. Subscribe wherever you listen if you like this podcast. We're almost 100,000 subscribers, and it will be pretty great. Once I get there, Tom Segura said he will finally respect me as an equal. And sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/You Be Trippin. That's it. Let's get back to this fucking crazy episode. I had no idea he was such a good traveler. This is fucking awesome. Let's get back to it.
Look at this. I don't know if you want to hold it up or look
Around
at
the
it.
world in a private jet. God damn.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
What?
So it was one
Cusco
trip.
and Machu Picchu, Easter Island, Tahiti, Great Barrier Reef, Angkor Wat, Kathmandu, Taj Mahal. Damn. Victoria Falls. I mean, these are the Luxor and the Great Pyramids, Petra, Istanbul. What the fuck?
Isn't that crazy?
The lost city of Petra. God damn. There's no way these are on. I mean, these are like,
Yeah,
Petra's here,
yeah,
and then like Tahiti's fucking there.
yeah.
What the fuck, bro?
Easter Island's the second most remote place on the
Where's
planet.
Easter Island?
Easter Island's, I think, like, let's just say there.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's just you can't even see it. It's so remote.
Wait, wow. I got to take pictures of all these.
Yeah, take pictures, and it shows
Oh my
the
God.
route. It shows the map, and it shows the price. Like, it's just crazy.
When Hiram Bingham discovered the lost city of Inca in 1911, he turned to National Geographic. So they took you to the fucking Machu Picchu.
Went to Machu Picchu, and I'll tell you.
And there's all this National Geographic like info about it.
Oh yeah, and they did lectures, and we stayed at the best resorts. We stayed at the best.
Look at this. This is the route.
Yeah, that's the route.
Oh my God. It's London, Istanbul, then down to fucking Africa, up to India, Angkor Wat, They took you to the Great Barrier Reef?
Great Barrier Reef, Tahiti.
Wait. This story doesn't end with you not doing it, right?
No, I did it.
Okay, great.
I did it.
Fucking great.
That's what
You're
I'm here
it's
to
the
tell
biggest
you
regret
about
of my
today.
life is not following up on this.
It's like one trip, but
Wow.
it's multiple trips in one.
So how do you do? You just like wrote them back on the back of it?
I didn't believe it, really. I thought this mathematically, economically doesn't make sense. So I phoned them, and they said, yeah, man. And I think it's
What year was this? When was this?
It says it on there. I think it's
2003.
Yeah.
April 2nd to 26th, 2003.
So I reached out to them, and I think this is the first time they ever did it. And so I think they were testing the water. And so I phoned, I go, is this? And they go, yeah. And I signed up. And I went. So now we're on this private jet, all first class seating, a chef on the jet. We get to land.
Chef on the jet. Oh, this is the jet.
This is the jet. And
I mean, it's a real plane. This is not like a 10-seater.
First class leather seats.
Leather seats.
Leather seats. And that was just on the toilets in the bathroom. Yeah.
I want to read these terms again. I'm not going to read them all. There's something in here, like also your soul.
Yeah.
It's so much. Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Okay, so you called them, and then how did it go from there?
So here we go. We go on the thing,
Wow.
and they send us a thing we have to fill out. We have to fill out a questionnaire for the whole trip, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Okay.
And you know they say, well, how do you want to be addressed? And, me, I'm a goofball.
How do you want to be addressed is a bad question to ask you.
So
this is also pre-pronouns. This is just like it's just, I mean, Your Honor. I mean, what did you choose? Can I switch per continent?
So you lived in LA for a long time. Did you ever do the Tonight Show over at NBC in the Valley?
No, I went by there for the strike once, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was shuttling people during a strike
Well,
to get my card.
The Tonight Show used to be shot in the Valley on Olive in Burbank. And right across from the Tonight Show, there was this little dumpy burger stand for years since I moved there. It's gone now, but it was called Juicy Harvey's.
Yeah.
So when I filled out the thing, I didn't think it would amount to anything. So they said name, and I wrote Juicy Harvey just as a throwaway, right?
Yeah.
So we get to South America. We're in Lima on the first night, and we're in this exotic ancient temple, and they're throwing a first meet and greet. There's 70 of us. And it's mostly older, retired couples. I'm the only young single dude. And they made name tags for all of us. So here's Carol Smith from Delaware. Here's Jack Johnson from Cleveland, and all of a sudden here's me, Juicy Harvey. Right? They made my name tag, Juicy Harvey.
They made a name tag for you.
Everyone had them.
Oh my God.
And so at the meet and greet, people were like, "Oh, hi, Juicy," and I was like, I didn't want to. So I went, yeah, that's my name. So for the whole trip, people were calling me the Juice.
Dude.
Like all these old people were calling me the Juice, right?
And in South America, it's Wheezy.
Yeah. And then, what happened?
Nothing, I'm just making sure.
Oh, God.
We're good. Go ahead.
So the other element of it was, I had done, as you know, movies and TV and stuff like that. I had a little notoriety.
Yeah, you had your own claymation show, which is rare.
And I wanted to be under the radar. I just wanted to go on this trip and be anonymous. That's sort of why I did the Juicy Harvey thing. And so these older people didn't really know who I was, which was great.
Oh, yeah.
And so they started asking me, like, well, you seem younger. How are you doing this? And I said, oh, I come from really rich parents, and they just wanted to get rid of me. And they sent me on this trip, and they're all confused. And I was just making up story after story.
It's like Charles Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we do the meet and greet, and then off we go to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
And have you ever done cocaine?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never done it, and I never really did it, but I sort of did it.
Oh, buddy, it's great.
Well, I'll tell you what. You go up to Machu Picchu, which is they worship the sun,
Yeah.
and you're at elevation. You can hardly take 3 steps without needing to catch your breath. And for some reason, when they greet you there's these old ladies with bald dogs. The dogs have no hair.
Really?
If you had a Rogaine line for canines, get down there. You'll make a fortune. But they got bald dogs, and they greet you with bags of cocoa leaves. And you're like, what the hell is this? And they go, oh, you put the cocoa leaves in your gums. It helps your blood circulate and helps with the elevation. Because some people actually get elevation sickness.
Yeah.
So now I'm up at Machu Picchu, this temple in the skies, up in the Andes, up in the mountains, and the clouds are going by, and I can barely breathe, and I'm like, when in Rome, gargle or whatever the saying is. So I start shoving cocoa leaves up into my gums.
Yeah.
I've never done coke. I brought my sketchbook, and here I'm sitting in this ancient temple.
Like in the middle of all this
In the middle of this, I was sitting right about there.
Wow.
And I'm literally... There's all these bizarre South American insects like centipedes and millipedes. Here's me with my little sketchbook. I'm tripping on these cocoa leaves in my gums. I look like a baseball player, And I'm sketching these crazy millipedes. I felt like Alice in Wonderland up there.
You could feel it? Was it
I could feel it. It was wonderful.
Wow.
That's the only time I've ever done anything like cocaine or whatever.
That's also got to be the most, like, the way to do it. The uncut, no baby powder.
No, just the raw leaves. I think there are even some inchworm eggs on one of them, and I got a parasite. But it was like beautiful.
Damn. Did it affect your writing? You're like sketching?
Not really. It just made it sort of really fluid and really like, I almost couldn't draw because I got so enamored with the insects. I was just like,
Yeah.
they're crawling around and...
There's something to be up there when you're like up in some remote place, like that, and then it's like where even the insects become interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're like, it's just like it's so foreign that you notice the like minutia.
Well, not only that, the insects up there are very exotic and weird, and huge. They can get really big and colorful, and they almost look like they crawled out of Steven Spielberg's beard or something. They're so. Like nutty and or maybe out of his pubis, or I don't know where they came from, but oh my God, do you have a mini journal?
Yeah, I keep it in my pocket usually, but then it's like when I have a note, I gotta like do.
Except for your smaller ideas.
Yeah, and then I transfer them to a bigger notebook when it's a bigger idea.
Hold that up. That's the smallest little.
Yeah, I just started this one.
Mini journal.
Tearaway pages.
Wow.
For real, it's because I was like texting if I had like a thought, but then everyone's like, or like writing a note.
Oh.
But then people are like, are you texting, ignoring me?
Got
but like
it.
when I do this, no one thinks I'm being rude.
I love it. Mini journal.
Moleskine. They're discontinuing these. It's killed me. I bought like 200.
You did?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we don't make those anymore. And then every time I'm in a bodega and I see them, I'm like, give me every one you have.
Oh, you must have a lot of small ideas.
You want one?
I'd love one.
I got you a parting gift then.
Wow.
All right, let's get back to
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to get sidetracked by this fucking sweet Moleskine notebook. I've thanked Moleskine in every special I've ever done.
Wow. I mean, you could literally.
I love how we went from Machu Picchu with cocoa leaves in your mouth, looking at these exotic insects, to whoa, a notebook?
Well, they're so mini. If you put cinnamon on those and put them in the oven and bake them, you could have a bunch of mini wheats, like cinnamon mini wheats. They're the same shape.
Yeah, about that.
Like put some milk on them and get some really good fiber. Because how many pages are in that?
About 50, 40.
Oh, you could be like an anus tree, just shitting for hours.
Yeah.
So there we go, my guy.
Did you have to shit up there?
What?
Did you have to shit up there? Segway.
Oh, at Machu Picchu?
Yeah. Are there
No, I
shitters
wouldn't
up there?
dare. That they worshipped gods up there.
But what do you do if you
They
got
worship
diarrhea?
the sun gods. You don't go manure up there. That's for gods. You don't shit in God country, guy.
Do they tell you, like, before we
You
get up
just
there?
know. You squat down over a rock or a log up there, you're going to get hit by lightning. I mean, that's...
Wow.
They went all the way up there to worship the sun. Like, you pull down your pants, instant melanoma on your ass, on your nuts, on your mushroom cap. Have you ever had melanoma on your mushroom cap?
No.
It makes it black.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sort of becomes almost a biracial wiener.
Maybe that's what happened to Luis Gomez. His is bi-colored.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the most interesting dick I've ever seen.
Also, if you don't want to do the cancer thing, you can slam your wiener in a minivan door, and it'll most outrageous purples and yellows, almost like when a peacock displays.
Uh-huh.
I call mine the Rainbow Warrior after I slam it in a
nice
minivan
van
door.
slam.
But that's
Yeah, you take a lot of shuttles from, like, sometimes at festivals, they'll pick you up in one.
Oh, at the
And then-
airport?
yeah.
Because they're so boring, the ride to the airport. So if I slam my meat in the minivan door on the way, I can just stare down at it, and it's almost like looking at a kaleidoscope of... Well, if you're going to laugh, maybe this isn't the travel show for me.
No, I was remembering, like, comedy festivals, sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking of a Tommy Tiernan bit.
Great
Yeah.
Dane. Dog species just threw it in for no reason.
Let's get... Sorry, I didn't mean to offend
No,
you, sir.
no.
I'm really sorry. I know you took out time of your day.
Dog species out.
All right, so you're in here. What did you do? You just walked around and fucking
So walked
felt it?
around, and it was hard to breathe. You could hardly take any steps.
Wow.
And I just doodled. I doodled, tweaked out on cocoa leaves.
You got any of the doodles?
Yeah, they're at home. I
Wow.
didn't bring them with me. But one thing I do, which
Yeah.
you can either say no to or yes to, is when I travel, one of the things I do is I write poetry. I write poems to capture the moment and the emotion and the feeling I'm feeling. And I brought 3 poems today. We can read none of them or one of them or whatever you want, but I did do one
At Machu Picchu?
at the end of this trip to encapsulate the whole journey. And if you want later, when we get to the end of the story, I can read it to you or not. I don't want to overwhelm.
Well, let me think it over, because
Yeah,
I don't know
think
if
it
the
over.
audience can handle a poem.
I don't either. I don't either.
Yeah, but
That
let me
just-
think about it. First thought, no way.
Yeah.
But let me think about it.
Yeah, think
as we
about
go.
it. And we got to factor in the audience.
And you
here.
brought the poems.
I brought. Well, there's 3, but one is in particular about this, and we can read that or not, or there's 3. It's up
What
to
are
you.
the other 2 about?
Well, the other one's about the essence of the energy of Africa, which is one of my which was one of the places.
Yeah.
And the third one's about the silverback gorillas, which I climbed up the volcano in Rwanda and had an encounter with a band of silverback gorillas. And it's a poem about the might and the majesty of these great beasts.
Today's episode of You Be Trippin' is brought to you by Hello Tushy. Guys, it's a bidet. Do you take horrible dumps? Do you take dumps that people talk about later in comedy circles? And people go, did you see what Ari left in the fucking toilet? Well, imagine what's left on your asshole. Lots of shit. Lots of smeary shit that'll end up in your underpants. Wiping alone is not good enough. My friend told me once, try spilling some Coca-Cola on a table and then just taking a dry cloth and wiping it off. Table's still sticky? That's what's happening with your asshole. Well, Hello Tushy has a fucking cure. It's wads of fucking water right up your butt. Holy water, you might say, except it's not been blessed by a priest, but it has been blessed by the demon who put shit out of your ass. Hello Tushy's got you covered. Literally, I have one at home. It fucking shoots water up your ass, kind of gets in there, cleans all the fucking garbage out, and then it comes out. What's fun is if you get the right angle, because you can move the angle on some of them, get it right up into the hole, so your asshole kind of fills with water, and then when you're done, it just kind of pours out. It's fun. It's not erotic, but I could see a world in which it would become erotic. But that's not what they're about. They're just about cleaning your shit. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. That's a year. It's time to ditch toilet paper and finally feel shower fresh with Hello Tushy. For a limited time, my listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the promo code TRIPPIN at checkout. Yeah, it's 10% off your first bidet. Use HelloTushy.com with promo code TRIPPIN. Hi, everybody. Today's episode of You Be Trippin is brought to you by Shopify.com. Let them set up your online platform to sell whatever you want to sell. They have stuff that fills out everything. And once you use Shopify once, it'll just like fill in all the blanks. So you can use it again and not have to take your credit card out in the subway while people are watching you waiting to steal your credit card. Whatever you want to sell. What I do is I take artifacts from other countries, I steal them when there's signs saying, hey, it's a curse on that, don't take it. I steal them, bring them back home to America, and I sell them online. And you can do that too. You can bring fruits that the American government won't let you bring back in. You smuggle it in, and you sell them online. But I'm all about the artifacts. And this thing, I don't think there's any curse at all. I think it's all coming up roses for us. Upgrade your business to get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up right now for a $1 per month free trial at shopify.com/trippin, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/trippin to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/trippin. For real, guys, whatever you want to sell, disgusting or fucking nice, use Shopify. They'll get you there. Let's get back to the episode. Harland. All right, how do you want to do this? Should we go place by place you went, or just pick out the highlights, or how do you want to do it?
Whatever you want. We can skip over ones if it's too long.
No, this is the most epic trip I've ever heard of in my life.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah, this is fucking
you're
nuts.
Saying we ain't in Bakersfield anymore, gang. Which camera am I looking at?
But you can do whichever one you want. If you look at that one, no one will know. Give it a hard look to that camera that won't pick you up right now. Oh, if you guys could see that one.
Oh,
it's
you can see it.
Deep, yeah.
Okay. So
all right.
Next spot, my guy.
Wait, so you started in, where's this? Machu Picchu, South America.
Machu Picchu, South
America. But
America.
that's the end.
That was our first stop.
Oh, you went from Washington, D.C. down this way.
Yeah.
Oh, these arrows mean direction.
Yeah. That's okay, my guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes think arrows mean you get hit by a Native American during a war.
Oh, is there any of that in this trip? It's not in the pamphlet.
Maybe.
Okay, so Machu Picchu to Easter Island.
Easter Island, the second most remote place on the planet. It's off of South America somewhere.
You've been there.
But it's so small that you could make. Do you ever pick your nose and flick it, or like spit like piece of parsley in your tooth or anything?
Yeah.
So you might have done that and hit your map, and that could be mistaken for Easter Island. Because you look like you probably spit around the house.
I love the, I'll wipe it underneath tables. Let it fucking bring joy to someone later.
Boarding school guy.
I like,
there you go.
I like these little islands. If it wasn't marked, you would just be like, how would anyone have ever found it?
Right.
You know? Like if you're on a map and you know, like if you're on Google Maps, you click on something, and then it's like, I don't know, the Cook Island, it goes up. But then if you like make it go smaller, it's just like, it's gone. It's disappeared. Yeah. How the fuck would these like...
Who
remote. Discovered it?
So here we are.
Yeah.
In a private jet being served lobster and teriyaki steak, and we're flying to the second most remote place in the world, an island the size of one of Pippi Longstocking's ass freckles, and we're approaching on our fuel one of the most violent, darkest looking storms I've ever seen in my life. Has encircled the island. And so the pilot comes on and goes, folks, we're low on gas. We're good. We can't land. We're gonna go around in circles for about 2 hours. And we're just like, well, there's nowhere else to go. This is the second most remote. Sure enough, this storm doesn't move. It starts to get dark. The pilot comes on. He says, folks, we got no options. We land in the dark in one of the most scary-looking storms I've ever seen on an island no bigger than a zit on Chelsea Clinton's fucking eyelid.
I mean, it's nowhere. How?
It's nowhere. Like, we
It's
got nowhere to
nowhere.
go. We can't even find the Bermuda Triangle at this point. If we go down, we might as well be a training bra at the bottom
What
of Dolly
the
Parton's
fuck?
panty drawer. Yeah.
How big is this island? Like, when you're on it, could you walk across it?
You could almost. I mean, you had to drive it, but it wasn't big. I forget the square mileage, but
How was the landing?
it was terrifying.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
made it. That's what it's all about.
I mean, yeah, you're there, and it's like we can't. There's no like, let's divert to fucking. Sorry, we got to go back to 4 hours from here.
I asked for adventure, and Johnny Tumbleweed got it. So now we
juice.
land on this place that's a microcosm of our planet.
What do you mean?
So when Easter Island was created, when it grew out of the sea, it became its own tropical paradise. Palm trees, jungles. It was its own ecosystem.
Oh, interesting.
It was inhabited by natives who lived there, who got there from the French Polynesian islands. And they settled there. But then eventually the white man cometh. The Dutch landed there.
Oh,
And
was it all friendly
The
and cool?
white people came, and sure enough, the whole island was decimated. All the foliage, everything was cut down. This
Just
island
Snickers
actually,
wrappers everywhere.
yeah, it had its own species of palm tree called the Easter Island palm, and there was one left. And in a show of dominance and superiority, the king cut it down one day to show that he was the leader. And now it's just a barren. It looks like an empty wheat field, and they don't even have seeds saved from these trees. And so now this is sort of a microcosm of our planet that if you keep pecking away and destroying at it, it becomes a wasteland. It's a fascinating study
Fuck.
in your environment.
Fuck.
No thanks, I'm busy.
That's it's disappointing.
It is disappointing. And
Yeah.
and to see that they destroyed it, but meanwhile they had these giant monolithic statues that they're sort of like the pyramids. They don't know how they moved them around. They don't know how necessarily they some people even say they were transported there by UFOs. I don't believe in that, but they thought for centuries that it was just from the head down to the torso.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they started excavating, and they found out that the whole body was down underground.
yeah,
So they were
the way I remember is just those heads.
yeah, but
So-
their whole bodies were underground, so they're 3 times the size that anybody thought.
Oh,
I've
yeah, it
stood
was
right
just the-
there.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You stood right at the base
I
of it?
stood right in front of that. It felt like I was with my hockey team in high school. But isn't that something?
Wow.
And they just stare up at the sky, and they're very haunting. Look how big they are compared to the folks.
The folks are way close in this one.
Yeah, and they're very enchanting and mysterious, and they're all over the island.
Can you get right up to? Can you touch one? Can you
I
get right
went
on
up
it?
on that thing and I got admonished. They yelled at me. You're not allowed up on the platform, which I didn't know. So here's
Okay.
me standing with the Stone family, and they yelled at me.
How big? Like, if you're on it, getting admonished, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
How high up do you get on one?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're touching it, can
Oh,
you reach up and touch the shoulder, or are you?
No, you're down at their belly button.
Like, you're just like-
you're right down there. Yeah.
Are you even as big as the mouse here?
You could probably get halfway up to the bottom of their hand, I think.
If you're standing?
Yeah, like
Okay.
maybe to the bottom of the hand. They're huge.
Wow.
They're huge things.
And then they uncovered them all.
And they're very mysterious. These are very organized, but what's interesting is they're dotted all over the island.
Yeah.
They're here, they're there. You could be walking through a field, and all of a sudden there's one by itself. Then there's like 8 or 9 of them. They're fascinating.
Damn. Oh, really? They're at separate places.
They're all around, yeah. And they're just it's a volcanic island, and
How long did you stay there for?
every spot was 3 days.
3 days.
3 days, and then before you knew it, you were moving, and it was just like boom, boom. So there's so much good energy.
Wow. How was everybody else on the thing? How were they feeling?
They were good. They were older people.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, Ari, is I tried to remain in anonymity. Mm-hmm. And as we started progressing to all these spots, we had to move in a group. And then
Okay.
once you're in the group, you could spike off and go hiking, do your own thing, or you could stay in a group activity. But we started going to these exotic places like India, Africa, Machu Picchu, Easter Island, and inevitably, everywhere we went, people would walk up to me and go, "Can we have a picture with you?" And now all the old people are going, "We're in the middle of nowhere," and all the old people, they're going, "Juicy, do you know these people?" And I was like, yeah, they're from my neighborhood. They're old, just a fluke. And everywhere we go, people are asking to take pictures with it. And slowly but surely, when we got halfway around the world, they start figuring out, okay, what's going on with this guy? Something's going on with the juice. And then they started to figure out.
He's got a backstory.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Boyd Matson. Oh, damn. That's so funny.
Yeah.
How is it when you're like, this is when I travel, like one of the best parts is complete anonymity.
Yeah.
It's for the first time in a while. There's no one's even looking at you. I'm not famous. But every once in a while it'll take me out of it.
Yeah.
It's just walking around New York or something. That first half of it must have been just fun. And also this is the height of 2003. This is like Something About Mary had just come out recently.
Yeah, all my movies.
The TV show,
Dumb and Dumber, my comedy specials, Half Baked, Rocket Man, like every.
Oh yeah.
Like so, people.
This was the time.
And this
that you
was
would
the
not
thing,
be left
Ari,
alone.
where this is where I realized the power of movies. Mm-hmm. You know, when I was in the States, I was like, oh yeah, a kid in Cleveland recognized me at the mall. There's someone after the show wants an autograph. I did not expect to go to Africa. And on the doorstep of the Taj Mahal in India, some Indian people recognizing me. Like,
just yelling out 6-minute abs at you.
Yeah, and all the different movies. And I realized the power of the reach that movies have. It really blew my mind. It was very and I'm not even a high-level celebrity or anything. I'm just a guy who did a few movies. But just in that, it was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, because TV shows really are just stay regional.
Yeah, like unless you're massive like Friends or Seinfeld, but the movies of all things really, wow, it blew my mind.
Yeah. I was in Israel and the Groundhog Day came out there.
Yeah.
But they don't have Groundhog Day. That's not a holiday they have.
Yeah.
So it was called I'll See You Again Tomorrow.
Wow. Also the name of my last wife.
That's her full name?
Yeah.
Was she like in some sort of cult?
No, we just got divorced. She said, I'll see you again tomorrow. And I'm like, please, no, just
you got it all.
Johnny Tumbleweed's got a roll.
Tumbleweed be tumbling. So you stayed there for 3 days. Is there any place you wanted to stay longer where you're like, fuck, I'm not done yet?
You know, it was just the perfect amount. And what was great about these organizers at National Geographic, they kept us moving. Like, you think 3 days wouldn't be enough, but we'd land. We'd get to Tahiti. They go, hey, you want to go diving? We found a plane wreck. You want to go diving on a sunken airplane? And we're like, yeah, I think I do. So now I'm snorkeling around a sunken plane. You know, or they say you can just stay at the hotel and lounge, whatever you want. But they always had stuff for us.
God damn.
So it was amazing.
So fucking cool.
Yeah.
So you went from there. Okay.
Yeah. So then we went to Tahiti. That's where we did the we did the snorkeling with a crashed airplane.
Oh, you snorkeled around. It was shallow.
Yeah, it was probably about 25 feet down, but it was haunting and weird and just, you know, the stories that fill your head. Were they drug runners? Was it just a guy flying a plane had an epileptic fit? Like, did they hit a flamingo or a gay duck, whatever you want to call it?
You could go down and touch it and stuff and kind of swim through it?
Yeah, you could swim right down. You could have, if you wanted to be an idiot, you could have gotten in the cockpit and pretended you were a play pilot and then drowned, but... But there's something weird about being around an airplane and a school of fish go by. It just doesn't compute. You know, like aeronautics and fish underwater. It's such a
two opposite worlds.
Opposing. Yeah, it almost makes you have an underwater seizure and want to kill yourself on a poisonous rockfish.
I've done wreck diving, but it makes more sense.
You've done erect diving?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean.
Jesus.
Well, some of these bodies still they keep them there. They don't like disturb them. So if two people are fucking in a cabin, they're still fucking. They're just all like bloated and stuff, but it's still hot.
It is hot. I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Yeah, but not a fucking plane.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, to see a sunfish flying through a cockpit, it just doesn't make sense. It's like Salvador Lee just went shit on your sister's forehead. Nothing makes sense.
Shrouded in myth and legend, Papiti's excellent harbor and natural beauty drew many great 18th century explorers, including James Cook, Louis Antoine de Bougainville. Never heard of him, actually.
You know, it's
Yeah,
hard
that guy
to think
sucks.
of the historical aspects of that when you're laying by a modern swimming pool watching bikini babes and sipping on a margarita. You know, history tends to fuck off the minute you're just lounging at a 5-star resort. You don't really care. Bring me another pizza slice, some chicken fingers, and you, ma'am, snap your thong until it gongs. You know what I'm saying, guy?
Oh, gone. That's right. Dude, I was in French Polynesia.
Yeah.
And there was just like these mini museums around, like
Yeah.
shitty, like Jimi Hendrix's first house, and then it's just like you go in there. That's in
What?
Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, it's done bad, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So one was like notable people that went there. I mean, a museum the size of this studio.
Yeah.
And one was Brando and talked about how much he got it. And then Gauguin was just a painter who just went full on colonialism, like slaves, child brides, whatever I can do. Beautiful paintings.
Did you know his middle name was Going, by the way?
Paul Gauguin?
No, Going Gone.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a sprinter when he was younger.
Paul Gauguin.
Gone.
Paul Gauguin.
By the way, Brando, isn't he wonderful? Remember in Apocalypse Now? There's an outtake, a famous outtake. You can watch it on YouTube where he's just in that temple and he's in the shadows and he's wiping the sweat from his bald head and he's improvising and all of a sudden a bug flies in his mouth and he's just improvising. He's like, I swallowed a bug. Like it's just a little. It's on YouTube. It's my favorite. I just love it. Please watch it,
I'll
and
watch
please touch your sister's face while you're watching it.
Yeah. It said for Brando, it was like, I love this place. It turned me around. I thought I could bring them my money, but then I realized I'm taking their joy. Like they've got nothing to gain from me. They got all their fruit they want.
Really?
And then Gauguin was the opposite. And then it was like Paul Gauguin, died, whatever it was, 1836 of misery.
He died of misery.
Yeah, they was such a drunk fucking cunt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how that actress gets around?
Misery. Miss Uri?
What was her name again?
Who? Oh, yeah. The misery chick?
Yeah. I know she got to what's his name? But how many has she killed?
How many? What was her name?
Laura Plumpkin or something?
You take the ones that are made for garbage detail. You take the others who are made to think but who can't act. You take... I swallowed a bug.
The best. How is that not in the movie?
How is it not in the movie?
How did they
Because he
get-
went from like super real to realer.
The garbage takers and the... I swallowed a bug.
And this is a guy who liked to eat, and he's complaining.
Yeah.
Like, just
Maybe he's like, I
what
didn't get to
hasn't he
enjoy a
swallowed?
bug.
Yeah. Like,
I swallowed a Golden Corral buffet.
That's what was the plantation.
oh,
What? Okay. Wow. Okay. So then Tahiti.
yeah.
What stood out there?
That
Just
was
the wreck
probably the
diving?
snorkeling
Yeah.
and the lounging. That was more like sort of tropical paradise. And I remember laying between two palm trees in a hammock and just staring out at the rich emerald islands with the sailboats going by, and it was just like, man,
Damn.
it took me back to when I was a boy and said I want to see the world. Here I was just swaying in a hammock, the pink golden sky, the golden sun sinking into the sea,
God damn it.
just like paradise. Little cabana
damn.
boys sprinkling
Coming out.
sawdust on me.
They speak French there. It's such a colonial place.
Yeah.
It's so clearly remade for helping travelers be luxuriated.
I loved the French element. I remember saying to one of the cabana boys, I said to him I was in a very sullen mood in the sunset, and I said, Monsieur, le papillon mange la cravate sur la table avec le papillon. Où est Pitou dans le school bus? And I don't speak French well, but I think I said, young boy, there's a horse eating a tie on the window. Where's Pitou? He's on the school bus. And the boy, I remember the boy running away and impaling himself on a Marlon.
Oh.
And I felt a little guilty, but fuck him for being in my paradise, that whore.
Yeah. I mean, that.
I swallowed a chicken finger.
So then they get you on a plane and they're like, let's go. We're done with fucking paradise.
We're out of there. Where are we? I forget where we went next. What does it
Great
say?
Barrier Reef.
Oh, the Great Barrier Reef.
Where's this? Cairns? Probably right outside Cairns, Australia.
Yeah, it's off the coast of Cairns.
Millions of years in the making, the Great Barrier Reef is the planet's largest structure built by living organisms. This chain of coral communities spans over 1,250 miles and is more than 400 feet thick in some places.
You know, they say it's the only living thing you can see from space. So when you're up next time, if you ever get up in the space shuttle or something, if you look down, apparently the Great Barrier Reef is the only living entity you can see from space.
Wow.
Coral's alive.
It is. They said the Great Barrier Reef was dead. And I went, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what happened is the coral got bleached.
Yeah.
And everyone in Australia wanting to be trendy, they all went out and got their assholes bleached, and so they'd fit in when they're swimming.
Yeah.
The support. You bleach your reef, you're gonna bleach your asshole.
Yeah, it's like those cancer whatevers.
Cancer assholes?
No, ribbons.
Oh yeah.
But like this is like more hardcore.
Are ribbons really celebratory though? Like, do you really want to slap a ribbon on when Grandpa's in the leukemia ward with tumors on his eyelids? Yay, a ribbon. Yeah, shouldn't it be more like shouldn't we be banging a death knell or
Blowing
saging the room
blowing
with
a ram's horn or to see him
something.
out. Yeah.
Or dress like Satan and bring a goat's head in, or like, this isn't time for ribbons.
No. Tie a yellow ribbon round the old. Who are you, Margaret? You're not my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old black lung. He's got 3 more days. He's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
God, I think I smell a country.
I don't know where they are. Oh, there we go. Damn.
Yeah.
So how was the Great Barrier Reef? What'd you do?
Great Barrier Reef was good, but in previous journeys, I had been to more exotic reefs like Fiji and places like that.
Uh-huh.
And the Great Barrier Reef is fascinating, but to be honest, it's a little bleak. It's not as... There's areas of it that are colorful and just like a collage of color, but because it's so massive, the water's a little bit cooler than you think, and it wasn't quite as overwhelmingly colorful and beautiful. At least I've been there a few times, and I've always found other places to be much more exotic looking underwater. But
yeah.
it's fascinating.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Did you go from the land out, or did you take a boat out around the reef?
Yeah,
like
we went from the land and took a boat out, and they had an island for us, a 5-star resort. They were making lobster for us on the beach. I mean, they went all out.
Wow.
What?
Really?
I hate to say it, but almost the thing that stood out in my head more was kind of the lobster on the beach. But I was being an idiot. I thought, I'll go and see the sunset on this little island. And I walked around and I went all the way to the end of the island, and I realized the sun goes down a lot faster there than it does. To me, it seemed like...
Oh, it's so far south.
Yeah, it just went woo, and so I'm on the far side of this island.
Yeah.
It's getting dark. I had to run all the way, and the sun was gone. I'm scaling down the side of this mountain in the dark, trying to get back to the lobster dinner like before the stars come out. It was...
That's so
cool. It was
cool.
Scary. It was one of the scariest lobster dinners I've ever pursued. So the Barrier Reef was great, but I've dove in more exotic spots.
That's interesting. Yeah. Some of it too. It's like if it's the size of it, that's the thing. It's like, well, you can't get the size while you're just in front of like one little area.
It's like the Grand Canyon. You just go to the Grand Canyon, you look at it, and go, okay, let's go to the snack bar. Like it's so massive.
Yeah, and like, well,
you
it
don't know
goes
what
for
to do
100
with
miles,
it.
and you're like,
Yeah.
well, can I see the 100 miles from right now?
Bingo.
Yeah.
It almost pisses you off. I was angry
Yeah.
that they brought me there.
And that's all you went to in Australia?
Yeah, that was it. That was the
Wow.
Great Barrier Reef.
This is such an interesting tour because it really is just for these amazing sights.
Amazing.
There's no like, let's hang out, see some coffee shops, go to some bars.
No, it was all high-end, exotic, like just, and you know, like I said, every few days you're like, boom, boom, boom. Unreal.
Wow. Okay. Angkor Wat. Fucking goddamn, this is a good
Wat.
trip.
Holy God. This is the place where the giant roots come out of the temples, and there's forgotten temples in the jungles of Cambodia. They still haven't found them all. They say there could be hundreds more buried.
They go overhead with mapping, whatever mapping,
thermal imaging, and they find that they Now Angkor Wat, this place here, unbelievably ancient, stunning, and one of my favorite memories is there's actual Cambodian monks walking around. It still functions as a spiritual and religious temple. And there'd be these bald monks, little clusters of them walking around in orange robes.
Boom time.
There's some, and I'll never forget. I was in the middle of Angkor Wat in that temple, and about 7 or 8 of them came up and surrounded me, and they started reading. They started reading like these sort of life prophecies, like
at you.
Yes,
or just to
yes, it was wonderful. And they're like, if the flower blossoms in the night, the moonlight will take you on your journey, like these weird, and I just felt like the dumb American Canadian guy, and so I'm not even joking. They were just standing there looking at me, and I started singing Dust in the Wind by Kansas, and I just started going, dust in the wind, I close my eyes, only for a moment, then a moment's gone. Dust in the wind. And they were just I mesmerized them back.
That's the perfect song.
It's the perfect.
Kansas has 2 hits, and that's one of them. And they're like legitimate Hall of Fame hits.
Yeah, and I was going to do Carry On My Wayward Son, but I didn't think they'd get the head banging because they were bald.
It does go. It's halfway through. It starts to pick up.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you could have turned them out, though. Get him from Dust in the Wind to Carry On My Wayward Son, and then and then once it goes, if they just start fucking, missed opportunity for sure.
And maybe even dip into some Back in Black by AC/DC or Thunderdome.
Then just go genre. You're saying.
But it was fascinating. They were literally sort of, I drew them into this song, and they were literally sort of like just transfixed. They did it to me, and I did it to them.
Were they for real? They were just like
for
listening
real.
to you?
I'm not even kidding. They were just kind of like, I don't think they'd had anyone ever sing at them before, and I think they had obviously limited English, but somehow I was being very sincere with it. I wanted to give them something back because it was such a mystical place. And so the lyrics of Dust to the Wind, if you ever read them, they're very, none of our money matters. None of our time here matters. We're just dust in the wind.
Yeah, we're temporary.
We're temporary.
What is this? Is it Buddhist? What is it?
Yeah, I think it's Buddhist there. Yeah. And so it was just the perfect
No.
thing.
I mean, was Kansas Buddhist?
I think they were booed a few times, but then they got a few more hits and they really picked it up. Wow, look at them. Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe they're Satanists.
Oh, yeah, maybe they're Satanists.
Yeah, like read some of those lyrics.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and then the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes. A curiosity. Dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. I mean, this is mushroom fucking Buddhist talk.
Yeah.
All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
And here's the part I sang, I think. Read that one.
Now don't hang on. Nothing lasts forever, but the earth, except the earth and the sky, and it slips away. And all your money won't another minute buy. Whoa. Damn.
Like these guys almost shit their turbans or whatever.
All your money.
Their robes.
I mean, this is all they're fucking talking about.
They didn't even need to go to monk school for their whole lives. They could have just listened to Kansas.
Everything is dust in the wind.
Everything.
Damn.
Everything.
I could listen to this on mushrooms next time I do mushrooms. Released 1977. Man, it held up.
I mean, those monks should have just packed it up and
try to follow Kansas on the road.
Go to Lilith Fair or something. Yeah.
I went to Lilith Fair 2 years in a row.
Really? How were the outhouses?
They were lacking, to be honest. It was the first time I've seen more women bathrooms than men. They were giving out condoms, and everyone was passing by laughing at them. It was one of those like public health thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you guys need this. And everyone was like, we don't.
I was there the year they were giving out IUDs.
Oh, really?
I tried to put one in, and it killed me. I almost had to leave I almost had to walk out of the Sarah McLachlan segment.
Yeah. IUD's nuts.
My name is Luca. I shit on the seventh floor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
karaoke
quite
song.
Angkor Wat and the temples with the giant roots.
You see like trees coming out of
Oh,
it.
unbelievable! Like Laura Croft Tomb Raider stuff.
Yeah, it really feels like Tomb Raider. There's a few places I've been, and it feels like that is the spot.
I'll tell you, Ari, it really shows you how in control nature is. I mean, these roots are 7 feet wide, and they're bursting out of ancient temples, out of the doorways, they're cracking the structures open. They're just I mean, that whole place is just so mystical and beautiful. Yeah, amazing.
Do you have pictures of these places?
Yeah.
Was it digital era or not?
It was just at the edge of it. So one of the oldies on the trip had a digital camera, and
This is how the trees were. Like growing really out of the stone.
they're growing right out of the structures, over them, through them. I mean, just a testament to the willpower of
This is
nature.
a good
and
one. Yeah, and you'll be in one of those.
Yeah.
And then it's just the tree goes from inside just out, and it's massive. It goes so
massive.
fucking high.
Yeah, and there's some shots where the roots are coming right out of the doorways. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, look at this.
Wow.
They're just consuming them.
It's like lava flowing down, but like
Yeah.
how many years did it take for that tree for root to find where it was headed?
Yeah, it's just so
God damn.
so reminds you that nature is in charge, and no matter what we do, just like Kansas said, we're just a popcorn fart in the wind. Or what was the lyric?
Dust in the wind, I believe.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't apologize. I wasn't in the band.
Okay.
Do you know how this was discovered? Angkor Wat?
Yes, I know the story, but I forget it. I think some guy stumbled on it, actually.
It was a jogger, a British jogger, who was just out, like, let me take a hike among the monkeys and stuff. And he found it. He was like, what the fuck is it? And he went through it, and he found it, and he thought it was an abomination. Wow. And he didn't tell anybody. He goes, no one should know about this thing. It's so anti-Christian that nobody should know about it.
Wow, he's a religious jogger.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Running for Christ.
Running for, not from Christ.
Right.
And then like 10, 20 years later, an explorer found, like, this is amazing. And the guy's like, oh no, I found that. That's bullshit. Don't tell anybody about that place. He goes, no, I think I'm going to tell like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the guy's like,
stunning.
please don't tell anybody. He goes, yeah, I'm going to tell people. Yeah.
Well, what's amazing is you'll see the statues. They're called the Four Faces, and they have a statue that has four faces that face every direction on a lot of the temples, so they're all seeing.
Oh.
And it's really fascinating and mystical. You see there's four faces facing in each direction, and it's not just one, they're everywhere. And if you look at the walls of the temple,
Yeah.
you'd think they would just be a facade of rock or stone, but if you zoom in on the walls of the temple, they're the most intricate carvings you've ever seen of thousands of depictions of wars and historical moments in Cambodian culture. Look at the intricacy of these.
Yeah.
Look at these tell
And
stories.
this
They're like modern or historical cave paintings, but carved in stone, intricate, unbelievable on all the temples. You can't even get your head around it.
Wow.
And what do we have? Public television.
We just had a flat thing. So this is on these fucking massive
Look at
structures.
this. That these are carved into the
What
side.
does it just tell about history and stuff? And like
Yeah,
the
it tells
different-
the story of the tribes, of the royalty, of the religious aspects of it. Like, oh my God, you can't even take it all
Journey,
in.
like, sunrise, sunset, photographic storytelling. Oh, no, it's a different thing.
And they're everywhere. They're on every building, every structure.
Wow.
It's
So it's just kind of like a big scroll, like a structure of scroll.
yeah, and there's endless buildings, and like I said, apparently there's all kinds of temples that they haven't even discovered yet, which seems weird. How could they say that if they
Yeah,
don't
then they
know
got to
they're
get
there?
to them. Yeah, how can they say they haven't discovered
Yeah,
them yet?
well, we haven't discovered about 400 temples yet. Okay, there, forecaster Franny, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's not that.
But look at that, and what do we have here in America? Chuck E. Cheese. We jump around. We got a rat eating pizza with fly eggs on it, and they got this.
Yeah. Oh, this is a decent angle on it.
we get
so
the
it's just like this
Cheesecake
long,
Factory.
long wall of
Look
just
at
like
it.
story of
Oh.
carved story.
It's a mind blower, man. And these are the things when I was a little boy, I wanted to expose myself. I knew these adventures, these beautiful things existed in my home in the different rooms. And so these are the things I encourage everyone to get out and they touch you. They deeply affect you. They stay with you. And they're so prolific and they're so intricate and they hold so much essence that they just by default they stay within your spirit. They're amazing.
God damn.
Yeah. Well, it's not blasphemy.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
some chicks got in trouble for taking their tits out here. I remember some German chicks that were like showing tits in different places, and they were like, "No, it's just like a joke." And they're like, "No, but it's a deeply religious site to us." They're like, "No, it's a joke." They're like, "No, not to us."
Yeah.
This is really shitty. Oh, I think they maybe they're showing their ass. The detail doesn't really
Das
matter.
ist ein Milchjugens. Or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't speak German.
I think you do.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Das
I
ist
so.
ein Milchjugens?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, DeVry.
Milken juggins.
Das ist ein Milchjugens.
Is DeVry still around?
It is for me. I take a night school German class. Das ist ein Milchjugens.
God damn. So you stayed here for 3 days and just
3
hopped
days.
around the Angkors?
Went all around there, like just.
Did you stay in Siem Reap, or did you stay? Do you remember? Or
Did I
you
do what?
Did you stay in the town right there, Siem Reap?
I can't remember, but we had to take a little bit of a journey to get there. But what they did, again, I hate to, but this was part of the fun of it. They had us in like these beautiful resorts, like 5-star resorts with pools. So, you know, when you weren't doing this, you were, you know, and this is why I was saying the price tag on this, it was ridiculous. Like, I don't mean to flaunt it or be Mr. Lavish, but they offered it, and I took my hard-earned money. You know, I'm just not like Mr. Rich guy. Let's do it. Like, I had to take a calculated risk and go, man, this is worth my money that I've worked so hard for. So,
Yeah,
and what's funny, they've since like
59,000 in today's money.
well, National Geographic, as far as I know, doesn't do this anymore.
Oh fuck! Because
But
I'm legitimately
other
I'm like,
companies do it. I think a place called Travcoa, and they've sent me pamphlets since. $200,000, $180,000. Like, I think they messed up. I think they did it and said, this is a lot of money. Let's see if people do it. I did it, and after that they went, oh my God, we sold out like that.
Oh, right.
And then they just cranked it up, and I realized I probably got the trip of a lifetime. Like,
For 35
my hand was
grand.
halfway to the garbage can, and I ended
God
up
damn
singing
it.
to monks and Angkor Wat and letting them really know they got to start buying some Kansas albums.
God damn, that's so fucking cool.
Isn't that wild?
What did your family and friends say when you said you were doing it?
They couldn't believe it. They were like, "Wait, what? Where?" And it was just like no one could believe it.
Because I mean, also like this is like any one of these things is like I'm going to Southeast Asia just to see Angkor Wat.
On
It's
its
a fucking
own.
15-day trip, but that's the one spot I'm saying I'm gonna check it off my list. I'm going to Australia. While I'm there, maybe I can like get to the Great Barrier Reef. That's it. That's the only one you do on that
Well,
trip.
here's the other thing. It was so well planned.
Never get to Easter Island.
Ari, this is what they did. They had 75 of us.
Yeah.
And it was so well organized at the beginning of the trip. They took all our passports, all our luggage. We would get through an airport, 75 of us, faster than if I did it on my own. They'd open a special thing for us. And in
private
some
jet.
countries, they even opened special airports for us. Instead of going into they let us land at military airports where there's nobody. And just so it was like a dream. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm not sure where we went next. What does it
Do you remember?
say? Okay, Cambodia. Was it India?
It was Kathmandu and then India. Yeah, but pretty
Yeah.
much same.
Oh, yeah.
These are real close to each other, but Nepal to India.
Nepal was, we went to a place, Ari, called the Tiger Tops Lodge.
Yeah.
In the shadow of the Himalayan mountains.
Well, just so you know, Nepal is a land of sharp contrasts.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. And this from a guy with an arts and crafts background. I love to hear.
Yeah, well, I
about
got the
sharp
crafts
contrast.
major, and then somebody's like, just get the arts. And I was like, oh, yeah, I get the arts.
Yeah. And if you go to Taco Bell, you might even get the farts. Well, you set it up, guy.
Yeah.
We are a team here today, right?
Yeah, we're a team.
But we go to this place called the Tiger Tops Lodge. It's one of the last places on the planet where you can see wild tigers in their environment, where it's not like all kind of cagey or like a protected park. It's one of the last pieces of wildland. So we go, and we go on safari, but not in a Land Rover. We go on the backs of elephants.
No fucking way.
We go on the
No
backs of
fucking way.
elephants. There's this 9-foot tall safari or tiger grass, they call it, elephant grass. And we go out. Is that the Tiger Tops Lodge?
Yeah.
And we go on safari on elephant back looking for wild tigers. It was unbelievable.
Were
Ari.
elephants just around?
No, they had them there. They had like a little stable of their own elephants. And there's wild rhinos, there's tigers, there's leopards. And we were going through rivers on the back of these elephants. We were going through this grass.
Wait, oh my God. And the tigers don't attack you?
Well, the elephants are so big. There are documented, there's videos
Yeah, there's
of
that
people.
one of that guy trying to push him off with a stick as that tiger just gets up and slashes
I mean,
his hand
they
off.
will. But the elephants are so big. We never saw a tiger, but we did see a wild leopard. We had a wild leopard right beside.
Whoa.
I got lucky. It was in a tree. It jumped down into this 9-foot grass. No one knew where it was. I looked down the side of my hulking elephant. He's right at my elephant's feet, hiding in the grass, looking up at me, and he goes, and I was the only one that got this. It was amazing. Yeah, here's the tiger comes running out.
I mean, because it's the high grass.
Well, this grass looks even shorter. The grass we were in was almost 9 feet high. Look at that.
Oh. Do you see the aftermath of that guy? His hand, his whole hand is fucked. Yeah, it looked like he barely touched him, but he was like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, he sees him coming a second out, and he's like, well, I got to
Look at that.
That's it.
I'll add the
Can't even
noise.
see
Ready?
him moving.
Asshole. Yeah.
His hand's gone.
Yeah, he just shredded it.
So you didn't see any tigers?
We didn't, but we saw that leopard, which
Wow.
was wild. I wish we saw tigers, but one
Yeah.
of the highlights, all right, so we're out. They go through the grass and into the jungle. We go into the jungle, and in that region, monsoon thunderstorms erupt out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, keep going.
So we're in the jungle. A monsoon rainstorm explodes, and the elephants ain't having it. They don't like it. They don't like the thunder, the thunder's smashing, the lightning's crackling, the wind comes up. Now we're in the jungle. The trees are blowing, leaves everywhere. The elephants are like, They start charging. They say, forget the guy on the back with the stick. So now they're charging back to the lodge. We're like flying, rain drenched, it's flying in my face. Thunder, lightning, I'm flying through. One of the elephants literally grabbed a tree and pulled it down. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was just unreal. Yeah. I mean, grab my sister's face and slam it into a radiator. on an old
God damn
car.
it.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
It
cool.
was dramatic. It was wonderful.
It just felt dangerous.
It felt dangerous, but all the elements and the thunder's loud. I mean, this is like we're in Nepal and it's tropical, it's sticky, and these giant billowy clouds just kind of form out of nowhere, and the elephants are like
They're just like bolt. They're just like
they
and took off.
instinctively like we're getting back to, because they had like a covering, an enclosure back at the lodge where they were housed, like a
Yeah,
stable.
who likes to get wet?
And they're like, we're not getting hit by lightning. Can you imagine a lightning hit elephant meat?
Yeah.
That'd be like a night at Burger King with the janitor spooning.
In what way?
Well, with the cheese slices.
Yeah. Did you go to any religious stuff in Nepal?
Didn't go to religious stuff in Nepal, but now we get to India.
Yeah.
And we go to the Taj Mahal, which was amazing. I didn't realize this was a shrine built by a prince for the love of his wife. He built this marble castle as a testament to their love.
God damn! I just get flowers
Right? You should learn to carve some marble, guy. But here we are at this beautiful temple, and I got pictures of it. Maybe I can send them to you. But
Yeah, send it to me. Send me all this shit.
We were standing there, and in this beautiful testament to love, and the grounds are most eloquently manicured, and there's Indian people and tourists, and this one Indian guy. I think picking your nose in India isn't a thing. Like, it's not taboo.
Oh.
And there was a man there with his family. And I think he might have gone like this far down. And he was just digging. I almost saw the top of his skull popping. He was like just digging for a good 6 minutes.
Early COVID test.
And his kids are just skipping around him like it's some kind of Mayflower festival.
Oh.
And I said, screw the Taj Mahal. I was taking pictures of this guy. I'll send you the pictures. I got about 9 pictures where he's just digging for gold. I mean, he got so deep there was probably Frankenberry up there. Like, unreal. His nostril was stretched out like a porn star after a night on Bakersfield. Unreal.
What a great memory of Taj Mahal.
Oh, it was wild. It was wild, yeah. So, but beautiful, stunning place. And then just in the middle of the mix, they go, hey, anyone want to fly around Mount Everest today? We're like, what do you mean? Well, we've rented a small plane. Who wants to fly around the top of Everest? And I was like, so now just...
That's one of those just like the activities they had, like you can do it if you want, the bonus stuff.
I was like, yeah. So now I didn't have to waste all that time and money climbing the whore.
Yeah.
Daddy just flies around it in about 12 minutes, and I got the bragging rights. In fact, I was higher than the stupid climbers.
Fuck Everest and his goddamn
I was
helper.
looking down, spitting.
Turns the ice on the way down, really hurt people.
Right? Icicle right in the neck. Rolled down.
You can see any dead bodies up there?
I didn't see any dead bodies. I wish. I love those.
That's my favorite thing about that is like when somebody dies, you're like, well,
Yeah.
we can't get you down.
Yeah.
We're barely getting down ourselves.
And they just slide by. I always think of Dionne Warwick, slide on by, do-do-do-do, slide on by. You see the corpses slide by going down Everest.
Do you think that was what she was singing about?
No, but I just changed the lyric because it,
Walk on by.
it's walk on by.
Yeah.
But
I knew
when you're
something
on-
was off. Something felt off when you were singing that, but I was
Yeah.
like, wait, is it slide on by? And
Well,
then-
when you're on Everest and a corpse, like some businessman from Cambodia or
Yeah.
somebody, slide on by, da, 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 slide on by, da, da. Sorry,
it's all right. No, we need
Well,
some music on this.
I know, but we had the Kansas and then
You gotta have, if you're gonna have white, you gotta have black.
just like
Yeah.
the penis with the cancer.
Yeah, right. So how long did you stay in India? Did you eat like local food in these places? or
Local
did-
food, and they had
Nice, nice.
took us to the best restaurants, best food. I mean, it just didn't stop.
I keep going back to how cool the trip is to then the bargain of the trip.
The bar, yeah.
Yeah.
And the services they provided, and it was just like crazy.
Just a trip around Mount Everest.
Yeah, we just just out of nowhere. Anyone want? And they got us a small little plane, chartered it around. We fly around the top of Everest. Something I never thought I'd see.
Yeah. That what about like that's not even on the itinerary.
It wasn't
going
even
in.
on the just like the diving with the sunken airplane. It's like that was every day they just throw stuff at us. Yeah, you want to do this? Yeah, okay.
God damn.
Why not?
What stood out in the Taj Mahal besides the nose picker?
I think it was the nose picker
Okay,
guy.
that's fair. That's fair.
Like the beauty and the majesty
Yeah.
of it, like it's stunning.
What a
And-
dichotomy.
Well, the fact that it's
They
based,
say Nepal is a land of sharp contrast, but you have the beauty of this with the fucking horror of the nose pick. I'd say
Yeah.
India is a sharp contrast
Yeah.
place.
and I think one of the standout things about the Indian people, there was such a beauty to the Indian people. A lot of India is very impoverished, and we'd walk the streets, and you'd see the people. I'm not even joking, Ari. I'd see a child and a dog and a pig eating in a ditch together. Like it could be that drastic at times. They didn't have a lot, but in their eyes, Ari, was this contentment, this fulfillment, this joy. And I looked in those people's eyes, the people in the public, and I go, I don't even see this light in the eyes of people who are doing well in other civilized, more prosperous, places like in America. There was a real inner beauty, a real inner light where it almost felt like they didn't know what they didn't have, so it didn't matter. They were just happy to be alive. And I think, I think in the Hindu culture, the Hindu religion, they also believe that the worse it is in this life, the better it is in the next life. The more suffering you have in this life means you'll have it better in the next life. So
there's like joy to suffering. Like,
which
this is going to be awesome.
Which I don't like really, but whether
you don't like it because you think it's not true. But if it were true, it'd be like, oh, that's going to be great then.
Yeah, I'd go out and hit myself in the face with a brick in about half an hour.
Yeah.
But there was a sadness to it, but there was a real beauty to it because I could see that in a way, they were unaffected by it. And it was really wonderful to see humans with they just look at you and there was a real joy in their eyes,
Yeah.
Which is something that's missing from cultures like ours that are prosperous, and we can go out and have whatever we want, or with a phone call we can order a steak,
And you just get so used to it. It's like, what?
But they were there's a real soulful contentment and just a real beauty, and I couldn't stop looking in their faces, and they just it was wonderful. And these are part of the things that you learn culturally and learn about the world when you do go out and travel. You take away these things, and it's very profound and beautiful.
Yeah, with this amount of time too, how many times have you just kind of like had those moments where you're like kind of like sort of see your own reality through another person's?
Yeah, it's important. For me, it had a deep impact on me spiritually, emotionally, in my life.
What do you mean?
It just makes you grateful for what you have, and it makes you realize that nothing really matters but you're nurturing your soul and making sure you're spiritually content and that you have a grasp of the real world versus just material things, which are nice to have too, but I don't know. These people were locked into a more spiritual level, I believe.
Yeah. How long did that last after you got back? That
still with me.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I already had a very, sort of a deep spiritual connection to the world, and that was part of my, catalyst for wanting to see it, because I do feel a connection to seeing and experiencing the world. But those people who had so little, it was really amazing and beautiful to see.
To see them happy in the face of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or naive to it. I don't know what they were, but something within them shone out of them, and it was really moving.
Yeah. It's fun. It is interesting when you don't know what you're missing. Like,
yeah.
You're just not aware that that's even possible.
You're not aware. And so the fact that they were there alive and existing, and that seemed that there was a simplicity and a beauty in that.
My agent got me tickets to a festival once. I needed tickets. It was sold out. And I was like, I just need to get in. And he was like, I'm going to get you VIP. It was me and 3 like normcore people. I'll get you VIP, whatever. Let me see if I can do it. I'm like, no, we don't need that. And he's like, no, it's better. I'm like, no one knows that even exists among those friends.
Yeah,
so like, they're not looking for it.
Yeah.
If you can just get face value tickets, we're going to be stoked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No one's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like unaware things exist makes it a lot nicer.
Make life easier sometimes. Just be happy with what you have. Don't be mad or upset about what you don't have.
Yeah. Is this caviar from Finland? Ugh, I said Helsinki specifically.
You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Especially at the food courts.
Of course, people get upset about the caviar.
I remember I went to Panda Express once and I threw a spring roll right through a man's forehead. I was so upset. Didn't give me enough dipping sauce, that pink neon.
What, you spiral it?
I just did a flip like an axe throw.
Oh, so it went right in.
Right in his forehead.
Yeah.
Dead before he hit the ground. Read a fortune cookie over his corpse and got over to Orange Julius. Got a nice foamy one and fucked off home. Oh, if you're gonna laugh, maybe
I'm
this
so
isn't
sorry.
the
Just
podcast for me.
I get when I feel sad, I laugh sometimes.
Fair enough, guy.
Yeah, it's not it's not the reaction I'd want, but it's just what happens.
It's okay.
They told me my father killed my mom and both my sisters.
Wow, what a dad.
Yeah, my first reaction was laughter. Yeah, but I owed one of them $20, so it might have been associated with that too. Like that
Daddy
was that
did
debt.
you a favor.
That debt was unpaid.
What I took away from that story is nowadays when men seem so effeminate and emasculated,
Yeah.
you had a real like man dad. Like
Yeah.
for
Put his
him to
money where his
just
mouth-
take out the family and not take any bull, like just
Yeah, exactly. Like you learn by example, lead by example.
what a dad.
Yeah, don't take no guff is what he didn't say, but like that's what I took.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Wow. Love it.
yeah. Love you, Mom. Okay, so that
Are we getting bored? I don't want to like.
no,
is
buddy,
this
we're not getting
too
bored.
long.
No, it's Trip is
Okay.
fucking sick. It'll be
Okay.
longer than most episodes, but it's worth it.
Oh,
It's not
geez.
like we're just meandering for no reason. You literally have an itinerary.
Okay, but
that
I
we
don't,
kinda have
I
to get
mean,
to.
We can skip some places if you want.
No, we're halfway through already.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, there's 3 on the end that we didn't go to because the volatility in the Middle East cranked up. So we didn't get to Egypt, the lost city of Jordan, or Istanbul. They refunded us a little bit of the money because of that was when the Iran
Are you just
stuff.
saying that to make this podcast shorter?
No, that's for real.
Really?
Yeah.
Petra. That was the only place where there's 2 is in
Yeah. Petra, Istanbul, and the pyramids.
Yeah,
Which
or
was
actually-
a bummer because I really wanted to see the pyramids,
Yeah.
but I won't. I went back later to the pyramids, but I'll tell you
Okay.
that another day. Yeah,
Wow, that's interesting. They were just like, hey, we just can't.
we can't because of the danger.
2003, I think around then
There was some kind of like a.
they were killing tourists for a while in Egypt.
Yeah, it got.
They were just
hot.
like,
It
we
was
don't want outsiders.
They thought there was going to be another Iran-Iraq war or something, so
yeah.
they had to cut it off.
Damn. Okay. But okay, you remember you went after Taj Mahal?
Was it Africa?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Probably.
Did you catch some rays down in Africa? That's what I thought the song was until last week.
Oh really? Yeah,
It's
the
like,
Toto
it's so
song.
Sunny. Yeah, it's so sunny. I caught
I
some rays.
catch the rays down in
Come
Africa.
back. How are you so tan? Because
I caught the rays down in Africa. How
Yeah.
come you're about to die in 3 days? I caught the rays down in. What is the actual lyric? The rain.
Yeah,
I caught
so-
the rain.
yeah, something like that. I catch the rain.
Rain. Yeah.
But there's no, aren't they in a drought? Maybe that's what it's about. Because it's the rain in Africa so much better. It rains here in New York. People are like, oh, it's fucking raining. Africa, they're like, oh my God, it's fucking raining.
Yeah, yeah. Although Chicago did a nice song to the New York rain. It's another rainy day in New York City.
I remember
la,
that
la,
one.
La, 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 just another rainy day. Just, well,
That's a good song.
then-
That's Chicago.
yeah.
I bless the rains down in Africa.
I bless the rains. Okay, suddenly they're religious.
I bless the rain. I bless the rain. Yeah, oh. It's funny. They wrote this all-time song, 1982. It's been around for 42 years. Is that
And
right?
you didn't know.
92. Yeah, and I really didn't.
Yeah,
really.
me neither. And I didn't really care, to be honest.
Yeah, not well written.
Now, anyone out there blessing rain?
I bless the rains. Yeah, what the fuck's that even supposed to
Yeah,
mean?
who the hell are you,
Yeah,
God?
why don't you go talk to Rosanna and fucking rewrite that shit?
Yeah, go pick your nose at a fucking train station in fucking New York.
Yeah. But you went to Victoria Falls.
Oh, was this the last spot?
Well,
I think it was.
so you missed Cairo, Luxor, you missed Petra, and you missed Istanbul.
Yeah.
Then London would be the last spot.
No, London was just our flying in and out point. So Africa was the last spot.
Wait, so did you fly from London to D.C. or did you start in D.C.?
Yeah, we flew from London and then to D.C. We started in D.C. and then
ended London.
Yeah, and then
And then they're like, goodbye, see ya, stay
Yeah.
in London. Mm-hmm. They don't fly you home.
no, you have to get yourself to London and D.C.
Interesting.
But Africa was amazing.
In what way? I
Right
almost
when
named this podcast. It was amazing because everyone who comes home from any trip, like, how was it? Like, it was amazing. It's the
was
word
amazing.
everybody uses.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
There's no other word.
Maybe I'll go then. To be different, I'll say it was splashtacular. I mean, it was chocolate milkshake mania. But what happened is we land in Africa. We went to several different countries. I can't remember which ones. But we ended at Victoria Falls.
Oh, you did go to several countries in Africa?
Yeah, I think we went to 2 because we were right on the border. So I think we went to 2 or 3, but I think it was just 2.
Where's Victoria Falls? What country?
That's what I can't remember. Africa is confusing to me because there's so many countries. It's like if you took all the states and shook them up in a, like a martini thing, and just they all come out wrong.
Zimbabwe.
But so right.
This one, no.
Victoria
Zimbabwe.
Falls. Yeah,
Zimbabwe.
maybe it was Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So we land there, Ari.
Yeah.
We land at an airport, and I think it was one of those private ones again.
This trip is so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And we get out, and it was one of those ones because it was a private airport. We got out, and we landed, and we walked out of the plane onto the tarmac, okay?
Love that.
So I'm a white kid from Canada, okay? I'm an Irish, French, Canadian white kid from Canada. I walk down the plane. I'm standing on the dark continent for the first time in my life. And Ari, as God is my witness, this feeling washed over my whole being, my whole spirit, and the voice in my head just went, I'm home. It almost gives me goosebumps to say it. Like I wasn't planning anything. I just stepped out on the ground and my whole body, my brain just went, I'm home. And I'm like, they say Africa's the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of man. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I've never been anywhere else. And this was this was our last stop.
Were you always taken from African culture, with African culture or something?
No, it was just another culture like any other culture. But somehow when I stepped on the ground here, I had this overwhelming feeling wash over me that was unexplainable.
Wow.
And it was very beautiful. And from there, we went to Victoria Falls.
Did you cry at all on this trip?
I almost did, and I'm going to tell you it leads into the poem if you want to hear it at the end.
I think, you know what? I've started to sway a little bit.
It's up to you.
I'm at about 60-40 against right now, but it started at a hard 80-20, and probably that 20 was like, let me humor him. I don't want to hear it. But
I understand.
I'm at probably 60-40 against now. You're making headway. I say the mo has changed. Anyway, go ahead.
So we go over to a place called Victoria Falls, which is this massive picture Niagara Falls, but with jungle around it.
Whoa.
Huge,
All right,
massive.
Africa.
I think it's even wider than Niagara Falls. There's a picture of it. You can hike down. You can stand in the mist. There's jungle. You're in
stand
Africa.
in the mist? Like in that shit?
Yep. You go down by the bottom. The mist is washing over you like a priest baptizing a legless baby. Yeah.
God damn. That's a side one.
That's a side one. Yeah, it was just massive.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so now our resort is right on the shore of this. Like you look out your window and you're almost right over the falls. We're right on the shore of this. I don't know if they made a real estate mistake, but it's right there.
Yeah.
So we go to this thing. And from there, we go on safari. And for the first time in my life, I get exposed to wild African animals. And our Land Rover gets charged by a giant bull elephant. We see lions. We see water buffalo. Wow. We see all these incredible animals. But one thing I realized about Africa at this point is I'm a nature guy. I love nature.
Okay.
I've been around nature. I've been a forest ranger. I've done all kinds of things in my life. But this is a place, Ari, when you go on safari and you go out into that domain, you feel this energy where the first time in my life I felt like as a man, as a human, I was part of the food chain. Like when you get out of that Land Rover, you're no longer like a guy. You're not a man. You're not a citizen. You're in the food chain. And there's so much electricity out there that every animal, every creature if they take a right or a left, it determines whether they live or die that day. And the creatures that can kill, the predators, the dichotomy, the flow, it's like nothing you'll ever experience. So if there's one thing I can tell you for your travel show is anyone who gets a chance to do a safari in Africa, do it. It's
Travel
unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah, unbelievable.
I follow that Nature is Metal Instagram account.
Okay.
and it's just like an animal killing another animal, or a deer
Yeah.
getting caught in a crag and dying, whatever.
Yeah.
But that is what hits me. It's like there's a skunk gets attacked by. It's like you just went the wrong way that
Yeah,
day.
that's it.
And then they're like, oh, you're near a bear on a hungry day.
Yeah.
And then he's just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But they're all just out there all the time, like
it's all
unprotected.
everywhere. Like the odds in North America of running into a or to a mountain lion or a bear, your odds of being killed in nature by another creature go way down. Even to see that goes way down.
Yeah.
When you're on safari, every time you turn your head, you have a chance at seeing whether it's a black mamba biting a lion or a hippopotamus attacking a gazelle, whether it's a pride of lions taking down a buffalo. It's just like it's electric.
Are you in cars at this point? Or
You're in a Land Rover, yeah.
Land Rover.
And
Open or
it's open, yeah.
I read somewhere that the reason the lions don't attack the whatever is they see the vehicle itself and not what's inside. It's all
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah,
So
I
like
think
that's the
that's
thing. That's
it.
not my food. But if you step out, they're like, whoa, where did this food appear
yeah.
from?
Yeah, they wouldn't let us. We got to step out once, and it was right by a riverbed where you could see everything.
So they had a good sight line.
But everything, those lions are so stealthy. They blend in so well to the golden grass. But even just stepping out, knowing we were kind of in a safe spot, it was nerve-wracking. Like
Yeah.
you were like, whoa, like you're looking around. It's amazing. And then we were,
God damn.
another thing they just threw in one day. They said, hey, anyone want to go for a helicopter ride over the, the safari area? And I go, I'll go in. So I'm in a helicopter for the first time with one of those bubble domes where it's all glass.
Yeah.
Just me and a helicopter guy. We're flying over rivers. We're seeing hippopotamuses underwater. We're seeing elephants charging across the plains. We're seeing herds of animals. Like it was just like that was just another like throwaway thing,
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
and so
And so you're just around these animals. You're just like driving through them to like where they're hanging and lounging.
yeah, you just go on dirt roads and if you can, I previously since then I went on safari again. When I was with this group, they had about 12 or 13 in each rover. But when I went again by myself, if you can get a rover on your own, it's so much better because you're not dealing with the chatter and the cameras. And so the more you can have it on your own,
That's a good
and
tip.
even go off-road. If you go to a more exclusive place, they'll go off-road where you're not on the roads and you see even more.
And that's just up to the guide, or like
That's
hey,
up
take
to
us somewhere weird?
the lodge you go, to the people. So if you ever go on African safari, try and get your own rover and a place where they will go off road because it exposes you to even more crazy stuff.
I went to what's the fucking big lizard island?
Komodo.
Yeah. And so I went to two of the islands, and it was a side island. We had this guide who was like hella into lizards. On Komodo, the guy was just like, come on, let's go, move next. But this other island, they're on two islands, and he was
Yeah.
just super into it. And so we were walking along, and he just goes to all of us, goes, hey, you guys want to like go find them where they're like not supposed to? And we're like, yeah. He goes, all right, let's go. Look up everywhere you go. Like, be careful, because if they're in the grass, they'll come fast.
Oh yeah, I've
And
been
it
there
was just
too.
like, oh.
It's amazing.
It's
like
amazing.
Jurassic Park.
Then you see him walking, and then like when they start running, you're fucked.
Oh, they're fast.
Yeah, my buddy that I met on another island, and it was just later, he saw like them like killing a fucking boar.
Wow.
And just ripping it apart, just screaming.
Because what they do is they bite them. They have venom, and it doesn't act quickly like a rattlesnake or a viper. What it does is it gets in their blood. It wears them down over about 5 days, and these pack of lizards follow it till it
A
just
lizard,
drops.
like this big, and
Yeah, they're
like
9
this
feet
like
long.
that. Yeah.
And then these things, they become immobile. They're still alive, and then they just come in and they start ripping them apart alive.
Yeah,
Komodo
nature has no
dragons.
like mercy. They're just
No
like, should we just
mercy.
like bite its neck first? They're like, no, as long as it's not a threat to us,
Just
we're good.
eat
Let's
it
just
alive.
eat it.
Pull
Yeah.
its eyes out, everything. Yeah.
It's just like, the mom's
Brutal.
nearby going, I can't help it. Anyway,
But one of the funny things that happened on this thing, I told you there was these naturalists and Boyd Madsden from National Geographic. He was the host of the TV show.
and so he came. I didn't know they had a TV show. He's
Yeah,
in
they had
here.
a National Geographic Explorer, and he was the host of it for many years.
Okay.
And so
He's still alive?
he's still alive, I think.
Boyd Matson. Here he is,
Yeah,
right here.
he was on.
National Geographic host.
Yeah, he was on the journey with us to give insight and educational lectures.
Was
and
he
things
enjoying
like
the
that.
trip?
He loved it.
Okay.
He loved it. He was there with his new wife, and he loved it. But here's the kicker: because he was on TV, he was in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So he comes up to me on the last day, before I tell you the Africa story to close things out.
Okay.
He comes up to me the last day and he goes, Juicy. And I go, yeah. He goes, I moved to Hollywood like 20 years ago, and I've been kicking around, and now I'm doing this show for National Geographic. And I go, yeah. And he goes, you're not going to believe this. I live in Burbank, and right down at the end of my street is a burger joint called Juicy Harvey's. And I just look at him and I go, Boyd, you're not going to believe me. And he goes, what? And I took my name tag off and I gave it to him. I said, you have this. Isn't that hilarious? He had no idea that whole time. Juicy Harvey.
What a coincidence.
Isn't that wild? I
Wow.
don't believe it. He waited. The fact he waited till the last day to bring it up, and he was sincere. He's like, I can't believe, I guess he didn't realize.
I just thought Juicy's your nickname and you're
Yeah.
Harvey. But there's another place also.
Yeah, there's
Juicy
another.
Harvey.
What are the odds? And he lived on the end of the street.
Wow.
So here's the kicker.
Okay.
We do Africa. We do this whole trip, and by this time, the people, the organizers, they figured out who I was. Now after
They
all
have.
these people, they realized I'd done movies. I was a comedian.
Yeah. Thank
did-
God it wasn't 16 where they could just look up your movies
Right.
and TV stuff, internet stuff. Stand-up stuff
Yeah.
at the hotel and bother you about
Yeah, it finally got to the point where I had to tell them. I was like, look, okay, guys, this is why people everywhere we go are stopping me. And
it. Yeah.
And so they were all excited. And what happened our last night in Africa at the lodge, they were doing a closing dinner for us. Beautiful outdoor dinner, white tablecloths, a gazebo right at the edge of the falls. You could see the falls in the moonlight spilling over the edge. Just fun. And they said, Harland, you're an entertainer. Would you mind tonight as a special treat doing a little thing for us? And I said, what, like a show or something? And they said, yeah, we hate to ask, but it's up to you. And I said, you know what? Let me think about it. I'll do something. And I started thinking about it, and it just didn't seem like the right place for stand-up. It felt too
Right.
out of context. And so what I did is we all had gone on this beautiful journey together to all these exotic places. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to write a poem. I'm going to write a poem for all of us to share, and I'm going to put down all my experiences and, in chronological order, all the places we've been. And what I'll do is I'll read it. They didn't know I was going to do this. I went up there. I think they thought I was going to be funny. And I went up and I read the poem. And now this is the point. If you want me to read it, I can. It's about 2 minutes long, or I cannot.
Yeah,
It's
I
up
want you to read it. I didn't know it was about those people. I thought it was about yourself and you were being a fucking dick, making it all
No,
about
it's
you.
about the journey. It's about what I saw,
Then
what
you
I
know
felt,
what?
what
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
Did you bring reading glasses for this? Or you need a
I
pair?
got my glasses. It's even on the letterhead. I had to have them printed up because it's on the I had
Wow.
no paper.
Wow. Papyrus in a place you didn't go to.
Yeah. So this kind of encapsulates the whole journey. Hope you'll indulge me. It's about 2 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's called The Journey. Ready?
Yeah.
In the adventurer's heart there stirs many dreams, to seek out the world's treasures, its forest and streams. And so on a whim we leave what we know and travel into the sunset and its beckoning glow. We land on an ancient mountain, breathing soft mystic mist, an ancient people's temple the sun god has kissed. Lost deep in time like a sad ancient ghost, the stones still stand strong on their green emerald host, as if still awaiting the Inca's return, unaware that their flame no longer burns. And then whisked to an island, we continue the trek, so far removed, a mere tiny speck, but guarded by giants, perhaps to keep us away, worn down by time and the cold ocean spray. They stare to the heavens with wide vacant eyes, dark orbs filled with nothing, no hows and no whys. It's as if they look through us and straight past the sea, these monoliths so silent, peering into infinity. And in the blink of an eye, or in a place twice as nice, a tropical Eden just short of paradise. Tahitian magic blows in the seductive twilight breeze. Romance and intrigue whispers through the palm trees. And in the fiery burning sun slips behind the imagination, the sky splashed with pink, passion and sensation. And like a seabird always hungry and searching for more, we continue on our journey to the Great Barrier shore. The reef spans forever, a turquoisey blue, like the penetrating eyes of a lover we once knew. And just below the surface of this aqua oasis, the fish and the coral all take their places. In an underwater ballet of color and form, of diversity and complexity, from where was it born? But with no time to ponder, again we are gone, to a land that still vibrates to the strike of the gong, where jungle meets man in a struggle for power, trees coil around culture and slowly devour. As if taking back what was rightfully theirs, roofs suffocate like pythons, and walls and stairs. Monuments to elephants and the sweet lotus blossom, four faces watch timelessly, all playing possum. Oblivious to our customs, belief, and modern haze, they focus on enlightenment and their spiritual ways. And then, like an echo, we're called to move on to a land shadowed by Himalayas, jagged and strong. Like razor-sharp fangs in a billowy shroud, they burst from the earth and tear open the clouds. And far down below, humans scurry like ants, millions all moving in a chaotic dance. And watching with stealth, without bending the grass, a sad Bengal tiger, his time soon to pass. Forsaken by man, his reign crushed by need, his royal bones and skin consumed by greed. And will we ever notice, as we all turn our backs, no time to think, just time to pack? Now in a country where each face wears the ages, India's history written on tattered, worn-out pages. Children and swine sharing lunch in the gutter. The dirt and pollution makes us all shudder. But there in the nucleus of a society gone awry, a white marble shrine that will never die. Erected in the squalor, a tribute to the heart, a place where even death could not pull them apart. And it was there in the children, an innocent glow, unaware of a better life that they'd never know. And then we moved on to our last scheduled stop, a place so much older than the hands of the clock, the dark continent, the true Mother Earth, the place of our origin, the land of our birth, where lions freeze the blood with an eerie gold stare, as if to ask us, why are we there? Fooling ourselves that we're at the top of the chain, but not asking ourselves, what price have we paid? From the never-ending pulse of the thundering falls to the vibrant moon night and the myriad of calls, we bring into question our place on this sphere. Where are we going? How do we steer? The crickets don't know as they sing so afar on a black velvet night under glistening stars. And so, in the end, our voyage never ceases, from vast open plains to wide windswept beaches. What have I learned after seeing it all? That our lives are but a heartbeat, and we're all so very small. And we just keep on searching through the laughter and strife. We continue exploring this gift we call life.
Damn, buddy. That was great. What did they say about that? I mean, if they know you at all, they're like, well, this is not on brand.
I think they were just like,
That was beautiful.
thank you very much.
That was beautiful. What a gift
Thank
to
you.
everybody, too.
Well, that's what some of them said, and I was very out of my element because that's not what I'm known for.
No.
And I was very nervous, and I was very bashful to read it, but I thought God channeled these words through me, and we did this thing together. I want to share it with them. I don't want to make them laugh.
Yeah.
I want to share it with them, and they're all kind of silent, and they all came up afterwards, and they were just very moved, and they all asked for a copy of it. But there was one moment that, and when I read it, I almost, you asked me earlier, did I cry? Because that was so fresh to me when I read it, I actually started getting emotional reading it. I could feel myself choking up when I was there.
It was such an emotional thing. It's such a spiritual trip, this trip. It's
It
like
was, it
uncovering
was.
like ideas about the world and yourself and your culture all over mostly over a month period. It's so tight.
Yeah. And I think
There must have been some kinship with all these other people too.
there was, and I think this sort of kind of brought it all together and it bonded us. But the most kind of beautiful moment for me is, which I didn't expect, obviously we had the staff who worked at this lodge. And of course it was primarily locals and African children and African teenagers. And as you know, that's another place of the world where there's not a lot of money for a lot of people. And one of the boys, like about a young 16-year-old boy, African boy, was watching, and they're all very well dressed. They really looked great. And he just was staring at me, and he walked up to me at the end, and he just stared at me, and he goes, "Mister, that was beautiful. How did you do that?" Like, I could see he was just, he'd never heard anything like that. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but he had never heard it. And I could see, he goes, "I want to write like that." And it was just this moment where I didn't know what to do. And I had a pen with me, and I said, I was trying to be this kind of prolific guy. And I just said, "My friend, I wrote this with this pen." I said, "Take this pen, and I want you to write whatever comes into your head. I want you to write your dreams." And he just looked at it, and it was just a beautiful moment, whether he went on to do anything with it or not. But I wanted to find a way to encourage him to know that anyone can do this, and just, it's all just in your hand and in your brain and in your pen. And that was kind of the end of the trip. And it was like just the most beautiful ending, that it touched this boy.
Wow.
And that was it. And that was my trip around the world from a pamphlet that I almost threw in the garbage can.
I mean, oh, wow. I was not expecting a serious poem from you.
You weren't? Nobody was.
No.
Nobody
was.
They thought I was going to do a comedy bit. And that's how moved I was by everything I saw. And it was that's why I wanted to share it with you today. It was such a beautiful...
I mean, trip of a fucking lifetime.
It was. And I've been on other trips to other places all over the world too, but this one was so special that I thought you might appreciate it if I shared it with you.
Have you? Yeah. Had you been traveling to like remote places like this before this?
Yeah.
Just here or there?
Yeah, I hadn't been to places this exotic, but I'd been to, like, Germany, I'd been to Paris, I'd been to, France, obviously, I'd been to Scotland, Ireland,
but not like the exotics.
But I hadn't been to these real exotic, which are the places you kind of want to go when you come from our culture, because these are the places that we've never experienced.
Yeah. I mean, Germany is like a great place to do drugs and dance, or like Paris is like,
show dein milk juggins.
Yeah. But this
all
is like,
great, but this was sort of just, it was so exotic.
I mean, multiple extinct cultures.
Yeah. And to do it all just boom, 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 it was amazing.
Wow. I bet everybody else was older. I bet, because it's like, who
were.
can afford this? I had
Right.
Monroe Martin, a comic. He did a in Kenya. he did a safari, but he did gigs there. The
Yeah.
guy organized like, I can get you and your wife like tickets if you want. So he's like 28 and he's with all these like 69-year-old, 70-year-old people, and they'll just look at it. I'm like, how did you? She's fucking young black guy. How did you get on? You're in the. He goes, oh, I got it for free. And they're like, we saved our whole fucking lives for this.
Yeah. And I worked hard for this. Like,
sure. It's not nothing.
This was one of my first sort of like, I went from Canada with nothing, gambled everything on Hollywood, started to do well, and I thought, you know what? This is sort of a reward. This is a culmination of all my hard work. This is something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought they undervalued it. I think they might have made a mistake. And sure enough, like I said, when I went back, Did
you have trouble taking this much time off?
No, I do it every year.
Your Jews didn't tell you like, no, come on, we're doing stuff, we're doing this.
Who?
Your agents or managers?
No, I don't listen to that. I create my own schedule in life. I take time off every year. Like this year already, I've been to the Galapagos Islands. I always go somewhere new every year.
Really?
Yeah, that's part of my commitment to seeing the rooms in my house.
Wow.
Yeah, every year I go somewhere exotic or different or, yeah.
I try to do 2 new countries a year. Me and Paul Morrissey we were in on a festival in Switzerland. They flew us out there, like 5 Americans. And he was like, let's go from here to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's do 2 new ones a year. And it just having that goal gets you to like move around.
Yeah.
And when I went to Tahiti, it was like, I only had 1 that year, and I was like, fuck. All right, after Christmas, we'll go there for New Year's for like 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
Without that goal, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, it always helps when you go somewhere and you're like, you know what? I'm here. Why don't I'll go to Japan since I don't know if I'll ever be back here.
Right.
So you got to take advantage of it, yeah.
I mean, we do have also like non-normcore lives. So you can go.
We can.
Unless you're on some movie in the middle of it, you're like, all right, before the next movie starts, there's no boss. You're the boss.
We're the boss. That was part of the whole thing when I was younger. It's like I want to be able to see my world and figure out how do I do that and be in control. And
what were the other poems about?
Well, I told you I have a poem about when I went to see the silverback gorillas. They're shorter, those poems, but I went on a trek to the silverback gorillas.
On this trip?
That was a separate trip, and then I did another trip where I went on safari again and had a really cool encounter with lions where I saw them take down a kill, and so I wrote a poem about that too.
And that's a different trip?
Different trip, yeah.
I wonder if you should do that the next time you come on. Or this one, a poem an episode.
It's up to you. I don't want to crowd the house, my guy. Maybe we should.
Yeah, you did do safari though. Fuck, I kind of want to hear him, but also it would go well with as a feature for every time you're on here. All right, let's save him. Save him.
Okay.
Let's save him.
Save him.
Yeah, a poem each time. Yeah, you got to come back and listen. I didn't know you were this like into fucking seeing the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to come back next time you're in New York or if we're in Austin together.
I'll bring another poem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you got pictures and shit at home?
Yeah, I can
like,
send you. I'll send you
the
the nose picker for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure need that one.
I have some good pictures, and I can send you some. I'll email them to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put them into the episode on the YouTube. Dude, where else is calling you right now?
You know, it's this is gonna sound horrible, but I've been to so many places. I'm sort of running out because I'm more of a nature guy, so I like my adventures to kind of circulate around nature, and so I'm trying to find that next place where I can. I've been thinking about Madagascar, possibly.
Oh,
where did you point to?
Mongolia.
What's there? Is that where the
Rhodes is always talking about? Yeah, I think the original retards were from there. And Rhodes did a gig in Ulaanbaatar, and he's like, they like comedy, and they'll take you around to like these way outside places.
Really?
Yeah, and you'll see
Tom
some
Rhodes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe that's that. I've never been to Mongolia.
Yeah. And the way he described it was like it's like nature-y based. You get out of the city instantly and then just go whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you.
But Madagascar would be cool. Where's that? That's Africa.
That's
somewhere,
off of
right?
Africa. That's where it's.
there.
It's got all the crazy trees and lemurs and.
Oh yeah, I saw,
Yeah.
and all the animals are cartoons. I've
Yeah,
seen
they're
that.
sort of
I've seen
cartoons.
that.
Yeah, and they have the voice of Ben Stiller. And,
Yeah. Weird
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, they talk like Ben Stiller, and yeah, really weird. So yeah, that's a possibility. But there's probably millions of places I haven't looked at yet. But
Yeah.
the big ones I sort of hit. But you know.
They have these. We did an Well, I was in Myanmar and we did like a 3-day hike. You know, where they put you up in a couple places. They
Yeah.
take your bags to the last place, and then the friends I did it with, we met up again in Austria, and we went along the Austrian-Italy border for like 8 days, staying in these huts and stuff.
Really?
But we were talking about like there must be that, like the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Coast Trail. There must be those all over China, like
Yeah.
long, like month-long trails.
Oh yeah.
There must be everywhere, and I want to kind of find some of
Yeah.
those.
What's a place you've never been that you want to hit? Like top of the list.
Tokyo's up there. Morocco is way up
Tokyo,
there
I
right
was
now.
there last year.
Yeah,
It's amazing. Yeah.
seems like one of those cities where it's like it's not just a bustling city; it's a specific thing.
That's great. I won't spoil it. You just do it. I went to see the snow monkeys and
Yeah.
just do it. Yeah.
What about Morocco? You been to Morocco?
No.
That's Paul Collins. I was in Paris for a writing class a couple years ago, and it's so close.
I just went to Dubai.
And I saw these flights. It was like one way, $79. I'm like, I should go. Wow. And I just couldn't swing it with time, and I still fucking regret it. I should have just tacked it onto the end and gone there
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks.
$79?
Yeah, it was just like one-way flights to like 4 different
For a
cities in
writing
Morocco.
class.
No. Flights, one I was already there, the writing class.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
like, I could just hop over to Morocco.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so that one's calling me. I don't know.
Iran seems fun. That seems like a fun place. A lot of excitement right now. Be fun.
Hey, legitimately, Iran has also beautiful nature.
Oh, yeah.
My friend from Switzerland went there, and I was like, it's not dangerous. She goes, that's like 3 little areas.
Yeah.
He's like, the rest is all just great
Yeah.
hikes and fucking beautiful outdoors.
That's the thing. Everywhere has incredible nature. Like everywhere. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be on the road just like going from like one gig to another, and then you just like see a big green patch on the map.
Oh,
The state parks and forget the national parks, but even the state parks are like, you could walk for miles and miles and never hear a sound of humans.
yeah. You get surprised. Sometimes you'll just like I was in Bakersfield recently and found an onion field, and just went in there and cried for hours. It was just like it was just emotionally. It's like therapy.
You're talking about from the onions?
Yeah.
Nice, bro.
Thanks.
All right. Well, usually I ask people for like a general travel tip, but I think you gave me go
Oh.
do the safari alone. I think you already gave me one, unless you have another one.
Oh no, yeah, do the safari alone. Not like or if you're with one friend or two friends,
that's
like
alone, yeah.
stay away from big groups. And I guess my big tip was, follow your voice. Like, don't be inhibited by, like, if you're with a friend, go, hey, do you want to do this? Or I'm not going to ask them because they probably won't. Like, you might only be there once. If there's something to do, do it. If they say, hey, we're getting up at 5 a.m. to go look for, caiman in the Amazon. I went with a buddy, and he goes, oh, I'm going to sleep. And I said, well, we're only here once. I got up at 5 a.m., and,
We're only here once.
and an hour later, I had a tarantula crawling up my leg in the Amazon jungle. And I got back, and he's like, how was it? And I go, dude, you shouldn't have slept. Like if you're there, get up and go. And don't be afraid to do things. Like, that's the thing. You're there, experience as much as you can, because you won't be there long. So that's my tip.
I like that. We went to Costa Rica. My dad took my dad for his 80th birthday.
Yep.
Costa Rica. We would go on hikes every morning in the place we went before breakfast. And my brother's always like, wake me up tomorrow. And we're like, you want to get up? He's like, no. And then later he's like, fuck, I miss these fucking seeing toucans and monkeys with dad in the fucking morning. What did I do?
For what, a sleep?
For a sleep.
Like, dude, you came all this way. Like, be a little tired, but do it. So there you go.
Buddy, this was a fucking massive shock. Every time I have somebody coming in that I don't know. I mean, I know you, but I don't really know you. It's like, let's see how it goes. I don't know. I've had to throw away a few episodes because I'm like, that was just a resort talk.
Yeah.
But this, what a fucking trip. And you were that close to chucking it.
I'm not kidding. I was just about to release my fingers and let it go, and then all I saw was National Geographic Around the World private jet, and I went, and I pulled it back, and I went, wait a minute.
Just in your junk mail.
Boom. Yeah.
And Wade Davis and Charles Doherty were there too?
Wade Davis is this giant, intellectual. He writes books. He's
botanical explorer.
The guy was a genius. Just sitting there talking to us. He was amazing.
He spent more than 3 years in the Amazon and Andes as a plant explorer.
Yeah,
living among 15 indigenous groups and people.
These were legit people. Because we have these long flights from here to Easter Island. They would give us lectures on the plane and do slideshows and educate us. It was amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense, the price.
Mm-hmm. It really doesn't. Just to take a first-class jet to, let's say, Australia.
Oh, yeah.
A first-class ticket would be $10,000, $12,000 just for the flight.
Yeah.
Higher.
$25,000.
For 30, yeah. I went all over the world on
I'm
private
thinking a coach
jet.
flight around, but it's your own private jet.
Private jet with a chef on board.
How many people did the trip?
About 70, 75. And Juicy Harvey.
74 and Juice JH.
Thank you.
Long live Juicy, bro.
It was juicy.
Yeah. The next time you come in, it's going to be the return of Juicy Harvey.
What are you doing tonight?
I'm going to go over to the garden.
Do you like, are you a pancake and waffle guy?
I'm not.
Do you like pure maple syrup?
I mean, yeah, that's got to be in your
because I have a tap in a country down the road, and if you want some country pancakes later, I got some pure country syrup.
What do you mean?
They get syrup from maple trees.
Yeah.
You put the tap in and it drips. I have a country down the road, and I can get some syrup, and we could have some country syrup.
Let's milk that fucking country.
Yeah, buttermilk pancakes and country syrup, 100%.
I'm 100% in.
Thanks.
Yeah, funny. Thank you. Thank you. God damn. All right. Thanks everybody. Follow. I'll do the inserts and stuff, but fuck, you on the road a lot?
A bit, and I'm doing my podcast, The Harland Highway, if you want.
The Harland Highway.
And I want you to come on it next time you're in LA.
1,000%.
I'd love to have you on.
1,000%. So and I'm now sort of remembering more that claymation show was a travel show.
Gary and Mike, yeah.
Gary and Mike.
It was about two guys following the what's the trail across America? The
Route 66?
No, the Davis and Thomas Trail, or it's a famous it's the two explorers, the something trail. It's named after two guys.
Yeah.
Lewis and Clark.
Oh,
so it's these guys follow the Lewis and Clark trail in a convert. The show is called Gary and Mike.
Yeah.
And it was a claymation show. And
it was funny. I used to watch it before I went to bed after spots and stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bryan Cranston used to do all the little extra voices. Like if there was a character like a cop that, hey, you guys move.
He would do that.
Bryan did all these things before Breaking Bad, and he was so...
Damn.
Yeah.
Should have stayed with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's got to carry around all these statues for no reason. All right, Harland Highway. Check it out, everybody. And whatever. Goddamn. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Safe travels.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That is the episode. Man, that was fucking cool. So when Harland came in, he was like, I told him like, hey, I want to cover I cover one country. He goes, well, I've been to a few places. Well, the coolest thing was he came in and saw the map in the background of the. He's just looking at it, which a lot of people do. It's just like, it draws the eye. And I was like, where have you been? He goes, everywhere. And I'm like, no, like on here, like where have you been? He goes, yeah, kind of everywhere, man. I was like, I didn't understand it until he was like telling me all this. But he was like, I've got like a trip with a few countries. And I'm like, I really try to cover like one country per. And he was like, okay, I can do that. But I kind of have this other idea. Dude, there's this thing I do to, like, sometimes I'll get like some like really high level person and I go do it my way. And then I realized I got to trust him to do it. Bridget Everett did my storytelling show once. And I was like, oh, but Bridget, it's a story. You can't like do a song. And she was like, well, I kind of like do stuff through song. And I'm like, and I was like, you know what, just do it. And she did this. It was at the Improv one time. this long song story where she slowly revealed details of some celebrity she fucked through like metaphor of the movie titles they've been in until they figured it out. It was so fucking crushing. And I put somebody in, I forget who I put, at the end of the show, and I was like, no, you have to go after Bridget because I don't know if she knows how to do this. And then as it was Mike Lawrence was at the end. And as he was watching, he was like, come on, man, she should have been at the end. So I'm glad I did this with Harland too, where it was like, yeah, okay, do what you want. And this trip around the world was so fucking epic. God damn, that guy's got to come back. He's got to come back onto this podcast to do something else. He said he would. It's cool too when a guy like that was like, we're not just gonna do your regular like puns and stuff that you do, but like, we're just gonna talk about this. Oh man, it was so fucking cool. It would've been cooler if he didn't have to miss those countries. Yeah, he fucking goes for it. I didn't realize he was so great at it, but yeah, anyway. So that's the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Today's episode was produced by the Your Mom's House Network. It was edited by Alan Caffey. Alan, did you do this one? He's not there. I'm talking to myself. What do you think of the studio? What's his name? I forgot his name. Marcus Laporte built this whole fucking thing. Can you use the wide shot here? If you can't, you can't. A lot of this stuff, if you don't know, am I in shot here? Is shit I got on the road. This I bought from a fucking in Otavalo. This, not. This I got from a fan. This I got in Ecuador. Is there my book in here? Oh, you fucking bitch. This was mine. I was looking for it. The Power That Preserved. Nope, that's not it. I'm still missing my book. I want to replace all this shit with fucking real souvenirs that I get. But a lot of them are mine. Well, it's a one shot. All that. Anyway. Where was I? Sign up for the Patreon. I think that's it. Oh, so afterwards I was talking to Harlan about it a little bit, and he was like, sent me a picture of him petting a rhino. I'm like, where the fuck is this from? And then he sent me a long voicemail about petting this fucking rhino on a safari, this baby rhino, and I was skin felt. So I'm just gonna play that right now. Remind you, my pre-sale starts October 16th with the following dates. No added dates, probably till 2027, at minimum till late 2026. It's the farewell tour, unless you can think of a better name, then I'll change it. But regardless, here are the dates. Tahoe, 50-50, the rest. Pittsburgh, starting in January. Providence, Salt Lake City, Brea, Nashville, New Jersey, Tampa, Denver, Schaumburg, Atlanta, Portland, Jacksonville, San Jose, Fort Lauderdale, Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary. Atlanta's at I forget, where Rogan taped a special. Ah, damn, weed. I need to smoke some. Tickets are at arishafir.com. Promo code Ari on October 16th. They'll all go on sale. And once they're gone, guys. Wait, did I have Salt Lake City in there? I did. That's it. Please subscribe. And until next week, Rolf Potts, the great writer Rolf Potts, who wrote this book. You guys remember him from all my episodes on Skeptic Tank. He's coming in next week to talk about Syria, his time there as a young lad. That should be epic. Sign up so you get notified. We won't bother you with anything, right? I'm putting up some of my commercials because I think they're funny, but then people got mad. So no more notifications on those. But Rolf Potts, the man who wrote Vagabonding and The Vagabond's Way, on next week to talk about Syria. Until next week, everybody, a trip around the world with Harland Williams. Now let's hear about his fucking adventures. I guess audio only. Put a picture over it or something. Bye.
I know that. I told you that guy was digging for gold. The rhinoceros was at the Tiger Tops Lodge. I forgot to mention it when we talked, but a monsoon had washed his mother away, and he survived. And this baby rhino, believe it or not, that's a baby. He started showing up at the lodge, and he would just hang around for an hour or so, and he loved to just suck on your hand. If you put your hand up near his mouth, he just loved to suck on it. I don't know if it was the salt on our skin or whatever, but he'd just gently suck on your hand for 5 minutes. It was so amazing, and the thing was like a tank. it looked small, but when it just turned its head, it would knock you over. It was just so powerful and muscular. And yeah, that was one of the highlights too. I totally forgot to mention it. But yeah, man, I'm glad you liked the pictures. And yeah, man, thanks again, Ari. That was so much fun, man. Cheers, buddy.